What's up, everybody? It's That Anime Show. I am Terri Doty with
J. Michael Tatum.
And today, our guest is the lovely and talented Stephanie Young.
Yay!
Hi, sweetie.
I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this.
Excited to be
forever. Here. One of my favorite people in the world.
Oh my gosh.
You are pretty awesome.
He's sitting just feet away from me. We're under the same roof. I mean, I have a little time, but I'm just like, I love Stephanie Young.
The love in the room is very mutual. I have the biggest smile on my face right now. I'm blushing.
Yay! All right.
She's backing away a little bit, too. What is that all about? What's wrong? What's wrong? This isn't stalking. This is what?
What? Restraining order says 200 yards.
200 yards. Okay. Well, that's different.
200 centimeters?
I can't get
I thought
by.
that's perfectly reasonable.
I can't get by without my Michael Tatum hugs, so that would be a
They
problem.
are pretty addictive.
They're pretty great, aren't they?
I've apparently built up a reputation for giving great hugs, which is
They're okay. I mean,
wow.
I just said that they're pretty great, and then I'm like, they're okay.
You know, it's good that she sets the bar high for you. That's good. You have to have people like that in your life.
Well, see, because
Sure.
well, as well as Stephanie,
Yeah,
because we're
we'll go
all
with that.
very tall people. Like,
Yes,
it's
we
the
are.
shorter people that like he gives the greatest hugs. I'm like, because you're not eye level with him. He needs to work on his eye level hugs.
Well, that's when he just
Good
throws.
eye-level hugs.
He just throws them in the air, you know.
I just throw them in the air and toss them around. Maybe play volleyball with them.
You could.
Good.
I do that occasionally with just coworkers.
Well, it's funny how often that I'll go to cons and stuff, and because apparently I've got this reputation for giving great hugs.
Oh,
Because I give hugs out at cons all the time. I mean, I'm like a total hug slut, I guess.
not
Hug
slut.
whore.
That's very
I'm a hug
giving.
whore.
That's a
Is
nice
hug,
thing.
Well, what is it then? A hug what? A hug giver?
A hug.
That sounds
A hugger.
A hugger.
Hugger.
Hugger sounds
You hugger.
like some kind of alien, like I'm a face hugger. But no, so all these little, fans and little girls mostly will come up and be like, and they'll run and give me these big old hugs, and
They're
I'm
great.
excited about that because I've got a bad back now, and I'm gonna
What
go
was it? You
like
were
this
telling
next
me
week,
like someone did like a running start hug to you,
Oh,
like
they
where
did.
they're like, oh no,
Yeah,
that would be
Aaron.
like, no, you were about to pay for my medical bills. That's what's gonna happen.
Aaron did that to me. Aaron did that to me at OhioCon.
Yeah, but
He just
Aaron's nothing. He's like
okay, but he's
like the
like
weight of a
taller than
leaf.
me, and he took a running leap from about 10, 15 yards away and just jumped into my arms, and I'm like, I almost didn't catch you. I almost just stepped aside and let you learn the hard way.
But see, people
I'll do
know
that. I'll
that
do
you
that
will.
to Aaron the next time I see him. Let's see how well that works out. That'll definitely help the hole I've dug for myself with Aaron.
The what?
Well, it's where
Innuendo time.
I always say the worst things you can say to. Well, Aaron is cute. I will say that, and fangirls have mentioned it to me before. Like, he's adorable. You need to have Aaron on
He
the
is
show.
adorable.
Well, he lives like 5 minutes away from me. I might as well stalk him. But but no, we were doing
Just take it for granted.
We were doing a commentary, and I instead of he likes to kind of get his way with me, and that's what I should have said. And that's what I in a way.
This is a perfect example of what she's talking about.
Fuck you, John Michael Tatum. Oh crap! Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna start
No,
just saying,
I am
yeah.
so entertained right now. This is fabulous.
Yeah, no, so Aaron Dismuke and I are totally dating and all that stuff, yeah. Does that sound better? I am a little sick inside now.
Did you see my t-shirt?
No,
I'm dating Aaron.
Like what I said was, he always wants to go to lunch and he always wants me to drive him and all that crap. But instead of saying hey, let's go to lunch, it's like, hey, where are we going for lunch? I'm like, I brought my lunch. He's like, so? Like that kind of, where he does that
You're
little
not gonna
so
pass
what?
this
Let's go.
up.
Yeah, totally.
And instead of saying that, I said, on the commentary, because I was just like, you little, you know exactly what to say to get your way. And instead I said, you know how to work me. And he got red, and Lucy's like, oh, no.
Oh, Lucy.
But yeah, fuck beans. Shut up, John Michael.
I love it. Oh my god, just like my grandmother now calling me by my
John.
full name.
That's not your full name.
Shut up.
Oh, that's right. I
Shut
forgot
up.
that.
No, you know what?
No.
Yeah.
No.
No, I don't remember the whole thing, but John Michael Tatum is not your given name. It wasn't your given name.
No,
Bug him
John
about it at conventions. The next
It's
2
my given
weekends.
name. It was my given name. John Michael Tatum is my given name.
You gave it to yourself.
3 of them.
But we all just
It is
love.
3 of my given names.
Okay.
We just love Tatum.
Yeah.
Everyone calls
I
me.
like saying Tatum.
No one knows ever know what to call me because of the J.
Or Jay.
They're just like, do you go by Jay? I'm like,
Just
no, I really
Michael.
don't. Do you go by Michael? Yeah, you can go by Mike or Michael or whatever. So everyone just goes with Tatum. They're like, well, that's the default. That's the one name we know.
Well, because, when you think about work, like, we don't call Christopher Bevins or
That's
Chris.
right.
We
Well,
call
that's
him
'cause there's
Bevins.
That's because there's like 8
There's a
Chris's
million
up there.
Chris's.
Like Michael
Right.
Harcourt, we call him Harcourt.
Yeah.
This is true.
All that stuff. Stevens, the only Steven,
That's
stuff
true.
like that. But even then, people call him like Hoff. Or Gino,
Hoff.
we call him
I still like
Gino.
the Hoff.
Stephanie's the only Stephanie I know.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
Stephanie, or like just go Stephanie Young.
Yeah. Stephanie Young with the little lights.
Well, that's great when it's like, oh yeah, who do you have
Around
next?
us
When you're
all
just
the
kind
time.
of BSing with other directors, like at like the one table that we have that no one ever cleans. Is like, who do you have next? Stephanie. Like, oh, cool. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm always
At
happy
least
when I-
it's not Stephanie. She won't shut up.
It's like,
Oh no, that just. I mean, yeah, when we say that, it's just not
Of
when
course
we're
you say
around.
that.
No, I'm kidding.
No.
I
I love
Steven
my
was telling me,
Funimation
like-
people. I have to talk to them.
him and Joel were recording you, and it was like, hey, dude, we need to get recording. It's like, okay, so anyways, la 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 la, and Joel's like,
I do, I'm
just don't
sorry.
stop.
Perfect. I'm not the only one. Not the only one.
I want
I'm
to
a
see
talker.
Joel. Has anyone seen
too.
Joel this week?
I have.
He has this Dolly mustache now. He's playing Salvador Dali in Lobster Alice for Second Thought
Yes.
Theater.
Is
and
that
he's
why he
rocking-
looks like Jesus? Now, did he cut his hair yet?
No, he
doesn't
doesn't cut his
look
hair. No,
like Jesus
he's got
anymore.
the
He's
got
shaved
that.
the beard.
Oh, he did
and now
shave
he's
the
just got
beard.
a
He has got a
mustache. Now he
mustache.
looks like Doug Henning, the magician from like the 70s.
I
Do you know what I'm
can't
talking about?
wait.
He looks
Joel's
like.
a very attractive man, but there aren't many men you can trust with a mustache other than Tom
No,
Selleck.
when I saw it, I saw the
Tom
mustache the other
Selleck.
day. The legended mustache. I'd heard about it several days prior.
The legended
that he'd finally
mustache.
shaved and gone with full mustache. And it is. It look. I mean, it's Joel.
tying
so
a woman to
you
the
know,
train tracks. Bump.
It is totally. But I'm
Exactly.
like, Joel, you need to wear like a pair of sunglasses and just hang outside like somebody's house and see how.
Well,
long
you
it
never
takes
know what to
for someone
expect
to call
from him.
The police.
It's so great. His look is always different, but you know it's for some show. You
He's an
think.
actor.
Like, when are you
Adam's
going to
an
cut your
actor.
hair? And he's like, I don't know.
He has good hair, though. You know?
Because
I mean,
I'm
for the
so
long
jealous of
hair,
that
he's got
man's
great hair.
I want that
Long,
man's
beautiful
hair.
hair. Yeah.
Hippie.
I love our hippies.
Take a bath, you bum. No, it's
Sometimes he's a little.
I'm
he's
sure
actually
he's-
look a little bummy.
I'm sure he's hygienic.
It's all
though.
intentional.
You know what? I think when I was working with Joel's when I first met you, right? When you were when we met, was that sitting
Was
in
it for
working on
Heroic Age?
Heroic Age? I think it was.
Yes, it was, Miss
Heroic
Lefty,
Age.
because you were about to leave for your wedding stuff, and we had to get that and
Oh, that's
pickups
right.
for Claymore.
And we were all talking, but we were talking about the whole wedding thing. That was lots of
Yes.
fun. But I remember you were very funny and you were very sharp, and I liked it. I was like, oh, I hope she's
I have my
around.
moments.
Yes, you do.
And then
You
other
should have a
moments
show.
I
Wait.
just do terrible innuendo
That's
with
an idea.
17-year-old children.
What?
I know, like,
Nothing.
sometimes I have my sharp, witty moments, and then other times it's like, oh, hey, foot in mouth.
Join the rest of us.
I put
Yes, Miss Lefty, that's how
my
I knew
foot
you.
gets lodged in my mouth all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Which is one of the reasons I think I talk so much is because I'm constantly revising. I'm like, wait, I just said that, didn't I? Okay, let me continue to try to maybe
me
make it
backpedal.
just a little bit. And oh no, I'm just digging myself further and further in.
And I remember first meeting you in the hallway of the old office.
yes, at the
I
old
remember
offices.
Colleen said, oh, you have to come meet the sexiest male actor voice of anime.
And I was there too.
No, stop.
and-
no.
So self-deprecating.
I was like, you're right. And he gives great hugs.
Well, no, I knew.
And then
I
she's
knew,
like, could be better. Could be better.
We'll work on that.
No, I remember that because it was when Aquarion was beginning to be recorded, wasn't it? Which turned out later to be the first show I directed on. But before
Which was so much
before I took the
fun.
helm, you and I were both in it, and I had heard you in passing. And I guess you'd heard me in passing or something. I forget how that is, but we knew of each other before we
other.
actually met. And I was like, oh, you're playing that character's name, who I can't remember. What was that character's
For
name?
shame.
And Aquarion?
In Aquarion, what was your character's name?
Sophia.
Sophia, thank you. I could not remember. I kept wanting
I'm like,
to
if
say
you
You
it.
don't remember the names of all my characters, Michael Tatum? I mean, really?
I don't remember the names
I
of most
actually
of my
memorized
characters.
them.
I'm like,
Helps
I'm
me
like,
sleep, or I'm like, Letty, Claire,
It's like a nursery
Hannah's
rhyme.
mother.
But it seems like ever since then, you and I have been like brother and sister in several things.
I know. I love that. We've played opposite each other a lot.
I know a lot, which is every time I go into record and Stephanie Young has laid down track ahead of me, I'm like, oh yay, Stephanie's playing that part. I'm happy now.
I feel that way because Michael's voice is like a massage. So,
Aw, thank you. Most people think it puts them to sleep. It's like a massage.
I
and then
like
it puts
that.
Them to
That
sleep.
would be like, I love your podcast. I was suffering from insomnia before that.
I feel great now.
It's better than chamomile tea. It's like, hello, this is J. Michael Tatum.
No. See, I dig that. I like that. So, that's a nice list. I like that. That's how I roll.
So you've been getting ready for the CD release?
Yes.
For the Brems. Now you just go by the Brems as a musical act, yes?
We do, although sometimes when we have the full band, because sometimes we perform as a duo, just guitar and vocals, and then when we have the entire 6-piece band, sometimes we will bill it as the Brems Band, just so people know, we're all there.
Yeah.
And we are huge fans of our band. We have amazing musicians that we work with, and a fabulous, fabulous woman that lends her beautiful voice to harmonies on the album, Miss Brina Palencia.
Who's that?
Ever heard of her? I don't know.
No.
Ever? No.
Does she do voice
I
acting?
think she might. I don't think she's busy at all.
I think I've
so.
heard her in one or two things.
One or two things. Yeah, but like it's like little bit characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll get the hang of it. I think she might have, somewhere to go with this. I sense it.
Yeah.
I have the sense
She could
about
stop
me.
breaking
It's
into my
funny
house.
because she's well known.
For those
the way
of you
we're
who
going
haven't
with this,
clued
it sounds like
into
she
that.
broke into my house for shelter rather than just to piss
Clever
me off.
girl. But at least she leaves ice cream and beer.
Well, see,
so.
like everyone's
Yeah,
already
that's
talking
true.
about because after you this week we're taking a little two week break,
2
week hiatus because
Okay.
Mr. Tatum's all popular and crap and going to conventions.
Excellent.
But
I'm looking forward to
but
these.
then
more hugging
after
opportunities.
our big show when we come back is Brina, and so everyone's just like, ooh,
Fabulous.
what's gonna happen?
It's a great way to come
Like you
back.
guys don't see
Yes.
each other between pranks or something.
I'm sure there will be stories
Oh, we will,
to
yeah,
tell.
because I won't see her until Chicago, which is Anime Central, and that's after. That's May.
You got a lot of conventions
So-
going on this year. It's like
I do. It's
wanna
crazy.
Pay money to see you?
I've never. I know, right? What the hell is that all
God.
about? I don't get. I mean, I'm not gonna.
You should.
But
We
I just
pay money
don't.
to
I've
see
never.
you too. I'll do
I've
that.
just
yeah.
never. This is the most conventions. This will be the most conventions I've ever done in a year. I usually do like 2 or 3 up until this point, but this year I've got one next weekend, the one after that, which
And then in May.
and then in
The word is
then
spread.
in June, July. Then another one. Oh my God! I don't even. It's crazy. I mean, I love.
If Joshua
Condo.
can't go to
Yeah.
any, I'd be, just
He won't be able to go to
obligated
some of them.
to go
Maybe
to,
I would,
you know.
and I need help. I need people with me when I go. I hate
Oh, I've
traveling
never
alone.
been by myself. The nice thing is David, that's my husband. He's always been
Who
able.
is awesome.
Who's the luckiest man alive?
Oh, I'm the lucky one. He's an animator. Hello.
Oh, well.
I'm married up. But basically, he's always been able to go with me, and I'm so glad. But the cool thing at some of the conventions we've been able to do is play our music.
Oh.
So
Oh,
now
so
I'm
that's
excited
really
to
cool.
finally have a CD. Of course, we're releasing our CD tomorrow. Yay. The Brims.
I know I will
And the
be
Brims.
there at the
Yay.
Light Catcher Winery.
I'm going to try. I'm going to make an earnest effort to be there as well.
Oh,
You
I
and your
hope you
writing
can.
work.
Oh, writing. Well,
Just
take a
blow
break.
it off. I mean, how important is that?
Bring the laptop. Bring the laptop.
Yeah, I'll
Like,
totally.
do you have Wi-Fi here?
I bet they do. What's really interesting, the woman that owns the winery was in production, so. And
That's right.
That's right, you told
because
me
Yeah,
about that.
Emmy Award-winning CGI artist, and she's amazing. But she just
Some
kind
of the best wine I've ever
decided-
had.
It is.
Yay,
It is
I'm
the
so
best
glad they-
wine. That's, I think, the best
It is good,
cab
isn't it?
sauv I've had in a long time came from there, and
a
we're.
Texas wine. That's pretty exciting. You
I
don't
love
always
Texas
produce
wines.
that. Well,
They're very underrated. But yes, but
I think they're
wine
changes for
flavorful.
me. Like, a few years ago, Texas wines were awesome, and then up until recently, they've been.
well, and then it got
But then
the like,
now I
hey,
found
you want a
Lightcatcher
sweet
and-
red?
Found
Like a
Lightcatcher.
sweet
Yeah,
red?
yeah, but now
Oh my
Lightcatcher, I'm like,
God.
that's a wine. Ooh.
yeah, and her menu. Yeah, she
good
decided
stuff.
to go
It's a
back
nice
to
to see
school
little
and get her
place.
degree in organic chemistry,
Yeah, you don't.
and then
like,
started this
awesome.
winery.
You know what? I'm done with
He's
production.
stacked.
Organic
Yeah.
chemistry. It is some.
I'll continue on with my
Good on
brilliant
you.
self. Yeah.
That is awesome.
At least they
I
hire
want to do that. I want to do that
bands.
at some point in my life.
Seriously.
As I go back to school and do something completely different.
I can't. I can't wait to listen to it because you just raving about Brina, but
I am.
you do sell yourself quite short.
Well, no.
Like if that were the case, why are you singing? Period.
You do,
You know,
yes.
it's-
For anyone listening who has not had the opportunity to hear, though you've sung in quite a few anime that you've been in.
I have
like
sung
okay,
some
One
anime.
Piece.
But
What else? Like, you've sung a few theme songs,
Tsubasa, you sang in Tsubasa.
Yeah, and
did you not?
Tsubasa, that's the only character, I believe,
Yeah.
that really sang
Yeah.
Oruha and Tsubasa. And then there's been some theme songs I've done.
Is it Case Close?
Negama, maybe a Case Close. There was a Dragon Ball. There's been a few different ones that I've worked with Mike McFarland and Brina.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so it's been exciting to
You
work
have
on those.
an exquisite singing voice.
This is such a good day.
getting
Y'all
all,
are
like,
way too
seductive.
I'm
kind.
like, oh,
You guys.
I can't.
Thank you.
Tatum,
The only
you
thing I
sound
can
so-
do now is form vowels. I can't even.
Can I just come and see you before every gig and then feel fabulous?
What was the name we wanted to come up with? Like, we wanted to form a band of groupies that would follow them, and like everywhere they went, I think we wanted to call us the Brim Cruelays or something.
Yeah, something like
The Brim
I
Cruelays.
love that.
Brim
Aw.
Cruelays. It's gonna happen. We're
much
gonna
more
get
clever
t-shirts.
than it's like, we like you guys. That's our name. We like
Hey, guess
them.
what? That's good enough. We'll take that. We will take that. We're just glad that you come, and it's
Yeah,
exciting.
no, I found it was on eMusic because it's I don't know, I like eMusic. They've got a lot of lesser known musicians
Yeah,
on there,
cool.
but I found the Brims on eMusic. So
You know
I'm
we were
like,
there.
Sweet. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, you know what? I'm excited for you to hear we have a new mix on one of our songs called No Turning Back. And I'll be interested to hear your take on the new mix. It's very different. We even restructured the song and it has a very different feel to it.
Okay.
Some new guitar riffs, more reminiscent of like the Church, maybe? Different, totally
Interesting.
different. Yeah, I can't remember if you hear it,
Interesting.
but
I want to hear it.
we're just
I'm-
excited. It's our first album of original music.
Well, and you guys are really such a group of fine musicians. It really is wonderful. Just watching you live. I mean, you know, the few times that we've done so. I mean, it's obvious that you guys just completely get so wrapped up in just the sheer joy of creating music, which is so much fun to see. I mean, it's great to see people with that much skill that can also just get up in front of a group of people, and none of us are there. Like we do not exist. The audience can just go to hell. You can totally tell, and that's what makes,
true.
to my mind, that's what makes a good musician. Someone that gets up there, and all of you do that. It's great. It was so much fun to just
you.
watch you guys do it. I mean, let alone
Well,
listening.
seeing the last
so
like
nice.
catch, but I hadn't heard you live because you played Brina's wedding,
That's right.
which
we
was I was
did.
like, oh, I had no idea until I showed up. What was horrible is the next time I saw, because you introduced me to David that night, and so the next time I saw it, we were seeing Jamie Markey's play like 8 Reindeer,
The
or
Reindeer
something.
Monologues.
The Reindeer
The Reindeer
Monologues,
Monologues,
and David was like, I'm so sorry. The last time we met, like I must have come off like so flaky. I'm like, no, no.
David.
I think you're great.
So
I mean,
funny.
obviously you keep good company, so I think highly
Aw,
of you.
nice.
And he's just like, no, I'm so sorry. I'm just like,
I
no,
love
it's
that he's so conscious about that. He just wants to make sure.
I do
It's like,
that too, where I'm just like, oh my god, was I talking too much? Like for the first meeting, I probably like just tried to command the whole conversation.
No.
I'm such an ass.
Oh, whatever. No.
Yeah, having dinner with you guys was fun.
That was so. Oh my
the
gosh.
Super
that
Bowl
was
was like, yeah, no,
amazing.
this is great. Can't see the TV.
I know during the Super Bowl, I couldn't stop looking at the eggplant parmesan that we had. It was incredible.
eggplant,
We're still
yes.
talking about it. You and Steven are amazing.
Yes.
Gotta have you guys over. You
I
gotta
want to come. I want to come over there. I do. When I
Come
get a
hang
social
out.
up again. I keep saying that. I don't think I've ever. I don't think I'm
Well,
ever
when
gonna have
you're
a
in
social up
demand, Michael, it's
again.
difficult.
I mean, it's nice being in demand. It's just funny
It
how
is good.
time flies, and you're like, oh,
It does.
Whoa,
We'll have to put it
nothing
on the
do.
calendar. Definitely have you.
It keeps
have
me
you
out of
guys
trouble.
over.
It keeps me on. It keeps me on the straight and narrow, so to speak.
Oh, right.
I don't get into.
You
well,
are so full of shit.
I know.
Okay.
We don't buy it after 2 seconds.
My parole officer is listening. No, whatever. No.
Wow, didn't know about
Like your
that.
parole officer needs a life. If they're just like, I'm listening to this podcast, hit my mic. Sorry.
Hey, it's wildly popular, or it should be.
It
will
should
be.
Yes.
It's
yeah,
on its
we
way.
have, oh my goodness. I
We
looked at our
got it.
fan page on Facebook. 250 fans.
Fabulous.
Woot.
This is our 9th show. I am ecstatic.
Yeah, this is a wonderful thing you're doing. It's great. It's excited, I know, as a voice actor to be here and talk with you guys. It's wonderful. It's nice to have an outlet just to, other than, being at conventions is great, but at least you can, reach more people and chair.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. I mean, and
nice.
it's the great thing about this industry is I'm sure you both know, is that like it's the most loyal bunch of people you'll ever encounter. When they like you, they like you, and
it's
they
amazing.
will just be like it. It's wonderful. I mean, I go to cons and see like the same people, not always the same people, but like the same people or people that I've maybe talked to online or something, and it's great. I mean, they're some of the sweetest, most dedicated people.
Well,
and I'm like,
that's the
love
thing.
that.
When we started going to conventions, just how supportive people are and kind, like you said. And we thought with our music, because our music is very jazz-based, jazz pop, and I thought, well, it's not house, it's not techno, it's not rock. I wonder how this is going to go over. And the fans were so amazing about it, and they liked it, and we were like, wow, this is great.
Fans are good. I don't know what was going through my head when I just finally, because I had mentioned it to Tatum. I'm like, we should do like a podcast or something, and you were like, that's a good idea. So, anyways,
I was like, yeah, sure.
but then I kept bugging
like whatever
you
these
about
podcast things are. What is that?
Let's do one.
Sounds like
it's a pod, like
we're gonna
a group
garden
of
or something. What is-
orcas.
Like the people.
That's what a pod is.
Next week in the water.
But when we finally like started doing it, we immediately started getting like little fans here, and I'm like, you guys don't know us. How did you hear about the show? But
word spreads,
yes.
and it's a good
It's
thing.
wonderful.
Wow.
It's really wonderful. And when you do something like voice acting in general, any voiceovering stuff, be it in commercials or what have you, it's a fairly, in the acting world, it's fairly anonymous. You don't get known for doing voiceover work unless you're like Don LaFontaine, may he rest in peace, who everyone knew. But
I was so upset over that.
yeah, oh, we all were, man. That was a hard day. But for the most part, voiceover artists are, one of the advantages is that you're kind of anonymous, so you don't get typecast as much necessarily or whatever.
At the same
and
time.
it is a double-edged sword. But when you do like anime dubs like this, oh man, the fans, they know who you are, they know everything about you, and they love you, and they
Very
will
humbling.
totally, and they recognize you on site when you go to cons. It's really gratifying.
Well,
Because-
after this, I mean, if no one's ever met you, they'll already know so much more about.
I know they're
you.
really going to know you two now.
Oh yeah. And
Well,
it's
I
good,
mean,
though.
me,
It's
I'd
nice.
say that they know me. If they know me at all, it's
course
from
they do.
this more than
should.
any of the anime work that I've done.
Wow, you're a
Because-
wonderful director
yeah.
too.
Well,
They
thank
should know
you.
that. You are of
Yeah,
the show, which we
and-
cannot speak of.
And they will know. They will know very soon.
The
Yes,
show
they
we cannot
will.
speak of,
Very
but we
soon.
also work together on Big Wind Up. So
Yes,
that was the
that's
first thing
true.
we worked on together. You were Hanai's mom. So there you go.
Yeah.
You were Joel's mom.
Joel's mommy.
That was hilarious. Like,
son
who's
with
my
a
mom?
mustache.
He's like, awesome. No, wait, not awesome. I don't know how to feel about this. All
Stepmother,
the
right?
moms in that show. No, we were so happy that there were moms, and we're like, oh, thank God, female characters.
This girl.
Female characters.
Women, yeah, thank God.
I was Suyama's mama,
So Yama Mama.
Anthony Bowling's mom, because I was like, whose mom could I be? And you went like,
That one.
and you went like, you sound like you'd be Anthony's mom, and then we're like, Stephanie sounds like Joel's mom. How
true,
did
we're
we
like,
pick
yeah.
this?
So happy to be Joel's mom. Very
And
proud of
Monica
my
was
son.
tall.
Although he would
mom,
probably
yeah.
much rather you were his stepmom.
Hello.
But
I don't know what to say.
That was like, hey, no baseball talk. Yay.
yeah, it was a nice change of pace. We're like,
Well,
oh,
Jamie
thank God.
was a hoot, like, because she kind of channeled
she's great.
Sean Teague to play Sean
She
Teague's
did.
mom.
She's so. We did good.
Like,
casting
hi, little
that
pumpkin
show.
face.
So since we're kind of on the topic of anime and dubbing
Excellent.
and stuff, how did you tell
Excellent.
us the story for those of us that don't know? How did you find your way into this particular
Yes.
facet of voiceover artistry?
Laura Bailey.
Laura Bailey.
If anyone's heard of her before, I think you might have.
Yeah.
You know, she and that Brina Palencia, they're making
Again,
their way up.
one of those relative
Unknowns.
Yeah,
Unknowns.
but she's gonna get big one day. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
I
I'm pretty
sensed
sure.
it. Again, I have a sense about these things. But, it was one
Poor
of
thing
those...
just can't get a break.
It was just one of those great situations. We had the same agent, and I had been doing, commercial work, and I'm a theater actor, and so we knew each other in that realm too. But she said, would you like to come in and audition? And I said, absolutely. And I had auditioned before and had not been cast. And she came in, and then she
You get
said,
used
"Why
to
not?" Yeah, it does happen. So
Yeah, you
never
do.
stop trying, guys. Never stop trying. But anyway, no, she had me in on a Gunslinger Girl. That was my first show.
Okay, yeah. And then you also got to reprise that role.
I did, which was nice because she was much more present, yes, in the next version. But anyway, came in and started working there. I'll never forget. She was so sweet. I mean, it was wonderful, my first experience in the booth, doing this type of work, beeps in the ears and all those things. Laura Bailey, how, it was wonderful.
How awesome.
So it was...
if it's your first time in, your first
time.
show is vital. Yes. Your first time, it's special. You remember I remember the lighting. I remember going into Studio I, and Joel
was so scared.
Joel held my hand, which was weird because he should have been directing me.
Can't blame him, Terry. He's got good taste.
And then he said, just close your eyes. And I went, well, that doesn't help me at all. Read the script. Anyway.
Oh my gosh, my
never
face
did that
hurts
with
from
me.
laughing already.
He made the engineer leave the room, which was weird. And then I don't know, I kind of blocked it out. It's weird. Joel McDonald.
That was she was directing.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't know
directed.
that.
Yeah, she directed back in the day.
We've hung out a couple of times, but I guess people feel like we should have already met. And I'm such an ass when it comes to introducing myself. So we've hung out several times, but never spoken without being. By the way, we don't know each other. Hi.
But we should.
I had met her a couple of times and not realized who she was. Because when I was first starting out, and I think I was out at Okatron or something, and then she was there, and I could tell by just she just kind of the way she commands a room when she enters. Not that she's a prima donna, she just has that presence. You're like, oh, this is someone who's been doing this for a while, because they just have this
really good
this
energy.
air of confidence, and she's always smiling and always in a good mood. And you're like, and so I made it a point to introduce myself and say, hey, it's Michael Tatum. Very nice to meet you. She's like, yeah, we met a couple weeks ago actually, Laura Bailey, and I'm like. Oh, we did. I'm so sorry. And I was like, oh, how can I not remember? Because I was, I'm terrible with names.
Well, it's difficult in our profession because we see each other for 2 seconds, leaving one going out of the booth, one going in. It's for 2 seconds.
I forget about that. Like Josh Greeley and Jeremy had been in so many shows together, and I was talking to both of them on the couch, and he's like, Are you Jeremy? And I'm just like, how do you guys not know? Oh
my God, y'all.
See, but I remember everybody. I'm like, oh yeah, no, we met 5 years ago. It's like, fuck.
Wow.
Yeah, we did.
Elephant, never.
Yeah.
I know, she remembers everything.
Drink Chardonnay.
That didn't happen. What?
But it's true. We'll work opposite of each other, and then we never see each other. So, or maybe we meet at a con or something. It's like, oh, right, you're that person. Especially if it's someone that comes in from California.
There's been a lot of people that I've the first time I've met them has been at a con. I met Johnny on Bosch the first time at a con.
He's
first time
great.
At a con. I met Chris Ayers' first time at a con.
Carly Mosier for me. And even now, we've gotten so close just by keeping in contact that she's going to be in town next week. She's like, dinner? I'm like, yes, dinner. We've met twice.
Awesome.
Yes.
I love Johnny Young Bosch, though. One of the cons that we went to, his band was there. I Shine, fabulous.
Yeah.
They were there, and then we were there, and so it was great because we went and saw them, and then they came and saw our musical performance and hung out. And
they're pretty good.
Great group of guys. Great group of guys.
Yeah, they are. But it's funny how that happens. That everyone just kind of assumes, oh yeah, we all know each other, and for the most part we do. But there's a lot of us that we don't know. Like you're talking about with Josh and Jeremy. It's like, oh well, they've been in so many shows together. Surely they've met
each other.
Yes. I'm like, no, you don't necessarily.
Well, I've never met. You were talking about Aaron.
Aaron Disney?
I don't know. Aaron.
Really?
You've never met? See, and I.
Well,
see, but Aaron. He's the kid. So when he's not recording, he's not there.
Yeah. He's at school or summer camp or whatever kids do.
Crashing a car somewhere.
Drag
racing.
Hopefully not.
That kid.
Crazy kid.
He's a teenager. He'll be all right. Just has to get it out of his system.
What
and
is
it'll
wrong
be
with
fine.
your voice?
I should probably get some water.
I like it. I think I'm connecting with you. It's fabulous. Get some water.
Get some water. See, look, I'm going to drink some water now.
Oh my God.
See, look, I'm fine now.
Got to keep that.
Oh my God, I must be getting dehydrated. And they're like, oh my God, what is wrong with your voice? It sounds all
So you mentioned kind of coming into the whole voice acting angle from stage. Obviously,
Yes,
you're a stage
yes.
actress. Tell us about that.
Do you still do stage?
Do you still do stage?
I don't do it as much anymore. That's what I studied in college and went into professional theater after that for a few years. And we have a great theater community in Dallas. It's fantastic. In the Metroplex, Dallas.
It's
Fort
very
Worth, all
underrated
around.
in my
It
opinion.
is. It is. It's a very, caring group of professionals, quality productions, and loved being a part of it. But then when I started doing more on-camera work, and those two sometimes have a hard time going hand in hand. Just
They
because
really do.
If you commit to a show, as you should, you're going to be busy for 2 months, and you can't do any film work or commercial work. I do that too, and so I haven't done as much theater. I love it though. I look forward to getting back to it. And then there's also the band.
Yeah.
So if I'm in a theatrical show, can't be involved in the band. And right
Now, which
now,
came first, the band or theater? What,
the
music?
theater.
Yeah.
Well.
I'd make that more abstract. Which came first? What was your first love, theater or music?
Oh, I don't see. That's like
Is it too
children.
far back
That's
to
picking
remember?
children. You can't do.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh, you
they're
can't?
both great. It's like of
My
course
mom
you
didn't
can.
get that memo.
Which one was born first?
I know. Just go with that one. It's interesting because I love to sing, but I wasn't one of those people like when I was in high school that I knew and like I'm gonna sing. I like to harmonize. I have a lower voice. So I didn't sing lead a lot until Gold on Fiddler on the Roof. Thank God she had a low voice. But the acting thing, I love it and loved being a part of that and obviously studied in college. But it wasn't until after I graduated I was doing a production of a show called Swing.
Okay.
I was one of the singers in Swing. I did a lot of musical theater.
Okay.
But I'd always wanted to
love
sing.
musical theater.
Love musicals. Jazz hands right now. But love them. But I'd always wanted to sing with a band, but I didn't know how to put that together. I didn't know any musicians really that would want to do that kind of thing. So I was just doing my theater thing. And another singer in town that was also with my agent. It's just great to meet people through that.
This is an amazing agency.
Just her
Amazing.
connections.
Agent.
It's amazing.
Actually, Meredith McCoy, who also has done some voice acting with Funimation.
Yeah, I
now
recognize
she's
the name.
Meredith McCoy Malden.
Okay.
But anyway, Meredith said, hey, this band wants me to sing a wedding gig with them. I can't. Would you be interested? And I said, yeah, I'd like to do that. I'd like to sing some jazz. That'd be fun. I'm doing it in a show right now. Turns out I wasn't available for the gig because we were still doing the show. But the irony is the band was led by my now husband. That's how I met him. I went and auditioned
Really?
for their band.
Okay, because we had spoken a bit when we were like having a triple date that one night where we, which was so weird. I'm like, I should feel
fun.
weird about this. Like, it's a date, but it was like very like, how'd you guys meet? And blah, blah, blah. And Brina and her significant other, it's like, oh, we met like,
Well, yeah, in geography.
yeah. They've known each other for at least a decade. I'm like, oh my God, wow.
Yeah, I auditioned.
But yeah, no, you guys had mentioned like the beginning of your relationship, and I'm just like, aw.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I didn't know
it's-
that how you guys met. So
But it's
that's really
interesting.
cool.
But we played in the band together for 3 years before we started, dating, seeing each
how-
other.
yeah.
We were both in other relationships and then
So you were
got out of
friends
them
first.
and
So it's got
we
that
were friends
nice
first. And I think
foundation.
if you can be in a band with someone, that shows
Yeah.
you a lot. It's
Yeah.
not
That
like
is
we
really-
have
that is
roadies or
very
anything
true.
like that. You can work together.
That is very true.
And then, come on, if you're going to sing, we have gigs where we play love songs for 4 hours. Come on. Bound to happen if you
It
get
helps.
along.
Yeah.
But no, it was great. And now we just started writing music together a couple of years ago. And then the CD we have coming out, it's all original music. So, obviously I'm a big fan. And when I met him, he was animating on Jimmy Neutron. So,
That's right.
which is,
Neat.
I'm
That
a
is
big
so
fan. Of course, my nieces and nephews think that's the coolest thing ever.
Because
But
it is.
he's crazy talented, I tell you. I don't know. He's
I think
wonderful.
you have a biased opinion.
Yeah, I do. I'm very biased.
But I would agree. I
And
mean,
you better
No,
say the same thing
having
about
just
me.
having just seen the man perform,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, no, like I totally
have
geeked
nothing
out. I'm
but
like, oh
respect
my
for
God,
him.
he's got a Gibson Hollow body. And Steven's like, shut up.
That's what we love about you. You get that. And then you can walk into see his gear and then the recording stuff and you're like, I get it. And he
Well,
loves
no,
that.
it was so funny. Like
That's
when
cool.
we went over to your place and Steven and David started geeking out because we were in your studio and we're
That's
like,
so hot.
we should just go.
I do love that though. And I'm glad he had someone to geek out with. I can only go so far. I tried
Audio,
and
audio,
it's beyond me.
audio, audio,
Yep. Yes.
audio.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But met through the band and been doing that and love it.
So music kind of grew out of the theater, you think?
It did.
Or was it kind of...
That tends to happen quite a bit, or vice versa.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, because
did.
theater has a very wide net, you know, and a lot of people find all sorts of crazy things through theater that they end up kind of branching off and doing their own thing. So, what got you into theater then? Like, what?
You know, it's funny. I loved performing in high school. I went to a smaller private school, so you could be in a million different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could be in athletics and be in the theater and be in the orchestra, and I'm so glad I was able to do all these different things. So I had like this split personality. I swear, I was in all these different camps. Same thing in college.
That's
you
awesome.
know,
That's how I think.
but
That's
it
how
was good.
education
It's
should be.
balanced,
You know,
I guess.
Sort of
But in
School
college,
of Athens approach, you know, be very well rounded, do a little bit of everything. I mean, seriously, I think that's good for people, and because then you know, as a young person, the more you experience, the more opportunities you have for.
It's good.
I want to do this, or I want to do this. You know, and the more.
try it.
Yeah.
Just try it.
Exactly. Just try it. That's all. You're young. You should experiment and try it on different personalities. You know, and
Damn
different
right.
things. That's what it's all about.
I
Hell,
wore a
still
bow
do
in
that,
Deep
and I'm an
Ellum, and I
adult.
live to tell about it. The sad thing is, I'm not kidding. I'm so embarrassed now for my younger self. But yeah,
That's the whole point of being
yeah.
young, isn't it? To
It's
be able
About
to
like half the stuff.
I know how. Right? What was I thinking?
It's really funny. This has been a bit of a side note, but the past couple of months have been me talking to old friends that I haven't spoken to since high school, which was about 15 years for me now. And for me, high school, I know.
Oh, stop.
But for me, you know, high school was kind of, you know, I couldn't wait to get out of it. And when I did, I kind of cut the cord. I mean, there's very few people that are still very close friends that have grown with me since then. There's about 2 of them I can think of. And the rest of them, you know, it's not like I was like, you know, fuck all you guys. And like, it was just, you know, once high school is over, everyone kind of goes their separate ways. And you
A lot
know,
of people have trouble with.
you know, a year becomes a decade and so on and so forth. You're like, oh my God, what is this person up to? And so the past few months, thanks to like Facebook and other things like that, people that I haven't spoken to
God
since
bless
probably
Facebook.
graduation, high school graduation, have looked me up. And it's so funny. I was talking about this the other day with someone else who was having a similar experience. It's just the stars might be just me aligned in a certain way because everyone's going through this right now. We're like, oh my God, I haven't talked to that person in years.
I love it when that happens,
You fall
though.
into like these roles. You're like, I have not been that person probably for at least, you know, 12 years. And yet the minute I talk to this friend I haven't spoken to since then, I immediately become that 17-year-old guy again who's high maintenance, very, you know.
High maintenance? No.
I was very high. Oh, don't
Really?
think you'd be like.
I love
No,
you.
seriously, you think I'm high maintenance now? You should know me.
No,
You would have.
just kidding.
You, Terri Doty, would
I'm
have beaten the
just kidding.
shit out of me in high school.
I-
You would have stuffed me in a locker.
I don't
when
think
I
I've
was in
changed
high
that much
school.
since high school, but at the same time, I love running into old friends, and they're just, you haven't changed a bit. It's like, no, actually, I have. But the beauty of it is, I don't have to be locked in a building with you for 8 hours a day and explain why I am this way. That's what I was telling Aaron. I was like, that's the beauty. I'm like, don't get serious in a relationship in high school.
No.
Because really, I'm like, if you get out of jail, are you going to keep in touch with your cellmate? And he's like, good point. Get out of jail.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
That is a great
I know, that's
analogy.
fabulous.
And he's like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
But high school, there's a friend that's been trying to get a hold of me, and I keep like missing him. Or the thing is I'm like, oh, you don't understand. No, I don't just hang anymore.
I don't have time to hang.
Schedule. I'm
Busy.
a big scheduler.
Yes.
Schedule with me. Like, it took us like a month to schedule like one dinner.
Right, I know, it did.
Oh, fine. We set a date.
It's called having a life. It's when you're younger in high school, you can be busy with things, but you have free time.
Well, yeah, because
And that's great.
Car
Take
optional.
advantage of it. It's a good thing, but you know.
hey, let's all go to Denny's and
Oh, I know.
Denny's.
Denny's. It's a big part of everyone's passage, you know.
I think about that now. We're like, oh my God, that poor waitress.
Oh God! It was like
Oh my-
somebody get something to eat.
We
Never
will
forget.
share
Something,
a plate
yeah.
of fries.
Right. No. I had a friend that once ordered, all he ordered was the egg substitute. It was like 50 cents. But it was hilarious. He was like, let's see what she does. I'll have the egg substitute. Poor woman. I'm surprised she didn't just pour coffee on his head right then and there. Like, get out
Oh
here,
man,
kid.
we
You're
had
taking a
there was a sort of a circuit of like 3 Denny's that I hung out in high
about
school
the
and right
Hop
after high school.
or the
It was
Awful
really
Waffle.
funny. Well, there was an IHOP in there or 2 in there too, but we preferred Denny's because the waitresses and they were all waitresses for some reason. I've never known a waiter to put up with us, the group of people. And it was like 3 different groups that I hung out in, like that I moved between them, and there was very little overlap.
See, you had a split personality too. That's
Very much so. And so I'm like,
fan.
it's like, wait, is tonight a Denny's off of Highway 5, or is tonight Denny's off of Central Parkway? Which Denny's?
where?
Who am I tonight? You know, which Denny's do
So you
I
were
fit
destined
into
to become an
this
actor.
evening? Yeah,
You
apparently,
morph into
yeah.
these different people.
And the acting, the Denny's method. I'm going to write the
Acting,
book.
the Denny's method.
Hey, there was a Denny's method because you always had a regular waitress. You always had, if not a regular table, a regular section.
Yep.
And it got to the point where, like, I was smoking at the time, so it's just like ashtray, Diet Coke. But then I quit drinking soda, and I'm like, oh, actually, tea. And she's like, you gotta fuck shit up. I'm like, but I'm still
Why you got to
smoking.
mess with what's working?
But yeah,
You'll
I don't
drink
know, or
this.
is that? I actually wrote.
You'll drink what I give you.
Exactly.
I wrote an entire screenplay at IHOP in a
So
week.
great.
And she would just she's like, all right, we got the extension cord. They would let me plug in my laptop
Aw.
and all that stuff. Yeah.
We used to have a writer's circle. One of the groups I hung out with at one of the Denny's there was like the hardcore group of friends, and there was the not so hardcore group of friends, and then there was the writing circle, and we all like got together and like critiqued each other's writing, and it was like I look back on it now and I'm like, oh. I'm so glad we didn't listen to each other.
Really? You do think you
so
know
glad.
everything when you're in
'Cause
college.
You're young. You don't know
Yeah,
what the hell you're
figuring it
doing
out.
when you're young. You try.
We
but
used to
when you're
go-
young, you take things so seriously, and and it's so funny. I mean, I would totally. And I think that's the whole point of being young, is so that when you get older, you can say, you know what, I would totally go back and slap myself in
Oh,
the
absolutely.
face.
I
if
wouldn't
went
go back
in
and
a
change a
time.
thing.
Oh.
And I messed up a lot.
I would not change a thing. I
No,
hasten to
not
add,
at
I would
all.
not. But
I
I
am
would
me
be
because
but
of
it would
those
be.
fuck-ups.
But it
Yeah.
would be. It would still be very gratifying for me to go back and slap
slap
myself
yourself.
just once. I'll just be
So you
some
can
of
become like a 12 Monkeys moment. Like where you're just like, there's this memory that seems fuzzy
I'm like,
of a
this guy
man
just pops out of this
smacking an ice
alleyway
cream
near
cone
the
out of my
Denny's,
hand and then just running away. It's weird.
Gosh, we used to get into like these debates, matches. I was really into student government and government. Actually, I started out political science.
Oh wow!
When I didn't start out theater. I started out in poli-sci, so I was, we were all the poli-sci kids were together and student government kids were together.
It's kind of
That's how I
that's kind of
geeked
the
out in
natural
college.
evolution, though. You start with politics and
Politics
debate, and
and
then go
acting.
into theater. And you're
Then I found the pure form. I came over to the dark side. Like, enough of that.
Welcome.
We're doing this. We're doing Greek theater because it's so much more fun. At least they admit to it. But
Greek theater.
it was fun. I took an acting for non-majors class and just fell in love. And then I would add a few more classes, and I made it a minor, then I made it a major. I just jumped in.
That's awesome.
Best decision of my life. Well,
Oh, of
one of them.
course.
But, other than my husband. But, yeah.
there's that, too.
There's that. I'm a big fan.
But
yeah.
you wouldn't have met him had you not.
No.
You know, that theater was kind of what started all for you.
You know,
I guess,
it's
isn't it?
and a friend of mine who's an actress told me, she said, just if you want to be in this profession, if you want to do this, if the door is open, obviously within reason, but the door's open, walk into it and see what it offers. Don't be afraid of it. If the door's open, be involved in the work, walk the mile to get there. And I think, you just never know where those different opportunities will take you. I had no idea I was going to end up singing with a band and I meet my husband. And everyone has a story like that. I know you guys do too.
You never know. You just kind of find yourself.
How you got to Funimation or how you started working in voice acting.
Yeah.
You just
God
never
knows,
know.
I would never have seen myself doing this now.
Right,
I
weren't you in advertising, marketing?
Yeah, I was in marketing for
I
another
can't
agency.
see for the life of me.
I couldn't see it either. I'm not sure how it happened. Well, I started in the agency. It was an agency that I just sort of fell into. Another job I got by accident because I knew somebody, and I was an administrative assistant for years, and I just kind of sort of ran the place into the ground. And I took care of everything. And after a while, after being there for several years, somebody approached me and said, "Hey, we want to put you on this account." And so I started working on the account side and doing marketing. And then after a couple of years of that, more than a couple of years, I guess it was more. I was like, then the opportunity to voice act full time and direct came up, and I was like, I think I'm going to go that direction.
So much
now I
more
can say
fun.
I've tried the whole marketing thing, which was my career for several years, and now I can say that I've done that and that I'm not a good fit for because I wasn't. I really wasn't. I did not have the right temperament for it. I think, and my hats off to anyone who can, because it is tough. It is
I guess
very
I could see you
demanding.
doing it because you're very creative, but
And that was, I think that was what kept me in it as long as I was. And I had there was a lot of great people that I worked with. I loved my coworkers, but just the sort of hours, and it was one of those jobs you kind of took home with you in a way that you're like, I don't like taking this home with me like this. And, and it was, and because I was so creative in other ways, and music has always been a part of my life.
Of course,
it's always been my avocation, though.
I've
never ever done it professionally, and I never intend to do it professionally. It's just something I do on the side, just to sort of keep myself sharp, I suppose. But when you do a job that's so different than any of your creative pursuits, and in the case with me was advertising, as rewarding as the job can be, when you come home, you're like, I nailed that meeting today or whatever.
Right.
You're so drained by it that you don't have any energy left over for your creative pursuits. And so for the several years that I did that, all my hobbies, the arts and then the writing and my playing music and composing, suffered greatly for it because I just couldn't find the emotional space for it. And so when I started doing voice acting and directing and writing full time, even as much of my time is demanded by those, it has me in the constant state of mind where I can flip over to, like, you know what, I just want to compose music for 2 hours just to do it, because it's not a big switch, and so I can always find the energy and the emotional space because they're kind of under the same roof.
They feed each other.
Like. Yeah. And so it was a total change. I mean, I thought, I'm going to get into this and I'm going to enjoy acting and stuff. And I did totally. And when I started figuring out, I really can make a living at this. This is nuts.
Brilliant.
Like, if you'd have told me 5 years ago, I'd even had a shot at this. I'd have told you, you're insane.
Oh, yeah.
But it's funny how something I didn't expect was doing it totally informed all my hobbies. And they came flourishing back to life again for the first time in like 5 years. And so I found music again. I found writing again and all these other things. I'm so happy to have that opportunity. It's weird how that works out. But yeah, again, I did advertising and I thought, well, this is my career and it's a good job. I should be grateful for it.
Very respectable. Good 9 to 5. It was 9 to 11, whatever.
It was quite a strange transition. I had a bit of a nervous breakdown when I quit and decided, all right, we're gonna go, because I was like, I have never not had a 9 to 5 job. I've never not had group policy insurance through the company. I've never had to branch on my own before.
Like that.
Never had, I've always had that structure. I've always kind of sort of sacrificed, I guess, creative fulfillment for security. And it's not a bad trade-off, I suppose.
No,
but in the long run, it can get to you. But when I finally made that change, I'm like, oh my god, this is devastating. This is going to be a tragic story. Like, I'm going to do really well for like a month, and then everything's just going to be like, and then I'm going to go back, and then I won't have a job to go back to. And then I was so convinced everything would go wrong. And make no mistake, because as with any job, there have been ups and downs, but on the whole, I'm like, I've done okay. I'm very, very fortunate. And so, knock wood. I hope that.
But that's the thing. Finding a way to you have to be brave. You have to jump in and do it, as we all know. You have to be brave and do it, and at least try to find a way to work that in, because you can. Don't just assume, I love to draw. That's just a hobby. That's something that's not a real job. I know I was dead set on law school.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so much because I had this great love of the law and defending it. I just thought, I could be good at this. I could do this. And I want to debate with people and wear really sharp suits. But, getting in touch.
I would totally hire you
with that. Thank you.
Because of her sharp suits.
I would. I picture you now in a sharp suit, and I'm like,
nice suit you're in, kid. Go. But I'll never forget, because it's a battle that most of us have. I really respect the people that just jump in head first and say, this is what I'm doing. I'm going for it. This is what I love to do. I'm passionate about it. And it will have, its ebb and its flow and its ups and its downs, but I'm going to, brave the stormy weather and waters. But I'll never forget sitting in the theater when I graduated and said goodbye. How stupid and dramatic is this? Yes.
Yeah, no,
I think people have those moments. I remember it was at the thrust stage, and the lights were all out, and I sat down, and I was like, goodbye. It was so stinking dramatic. But, it's like,
think about it.
Trying to close that door to get the real job and do the real thing, and, there's just no way this could happen.
I had a very similar experience when I decided not to be a professional musician. it's a long story that I won't
Why
get
do
into.
we
But
make
it was
those choices? I think sometimes we
well,
just
it's
assume that it won't happen, but sometimes
I think
it can.
we all kind of, we're raised to be practical minded, and very few of us are fortunate to have, unless you come from a very creative family that has had success in the arts. Most of them will tell you, hey, it'd be great if you can, but
However,
you need to have a backup. Even the most supportive family will tell you need to have a backup plan, and they're right. But it's funny how your backup plan suddenly becomes your plan A,
your A game
before long, because you're like, well, that's the surest thing, so I best go with that. I mean, and I just for me, I couldn't, I kind of said goodbye to it and never ever thought I'd find acting and theater and art again.
And it made its way back.
It did. It found a way.
It found a way back into your life. I hope I'm not the only actor that's been like your Dr. Phil moment on your show.
I don't know if it's Dr. Phil moment.
Really, that's not
I'll tell you what you need to do. You need to
wake up.
Wake up.
You're not
Stephanie
a real
Young.
doctor.
Yeah, I'm the fat guy who wrote a diet book. Sorry.
Falling out of a chair.
We can talk
But it is
about that all
important
day
to
long.
note. It is important to note because I know I haven't heard you, and I'm dying to hear you. But I've heard what an amazing pianist you
I
are.
don't know how people
love
get this. There's like
to hear.
how many people have heard me because I don't
Say
play.
pianist. Pianist. Okay,
Sorry.
because I'm like, I must be tired. I heard penis.
Everybody
Well, that's
does.
great too. Let's change the
Well, that's
topic.
another talent of mine, actually.
Amazing penis you are. I'm like,
I went to school for that too. And funny, I majored in penis.
Oh my gosh. The jokes I could tell you because my brother's a
minored
urologist,
in
but I'm not going to
penis.
go there. That'll stop the conversation in a room. Let me tell
Great.
you. So, what are you doing these days? Wait, we don't want to know. We're eating implants. What? Wow, it is
You
amazing
did
what
wash
they
your
can do.
hands before serving that quiche, right? Okay.
it's funny because
Oh
it's
my gosh, that's yeah. I have to tell this one story of what he did. He's going to get a kick of the fact that I'm talking about him on the show. Which the funny thing is, he's a fan of Claire on Claymore. And my brother is, Mr. Straight-Laced Doctor with 4 kids, and we had a podcast with Claire, and they kept talking about whether or not Rocky could cook lizard. And that's all my brother. He's like, so can you cook lizard? He thinks he's so funny. It's so cute. He's been doing this for like a year. But where was I going? Oh yeah, sorry. I know.
You're
shiny.
Thank you. Shiny thing. ADD. Woo. But basically, I'll never forget. Once he was showing me some family pictures. He gave me this stack of family photos. The kids and like at the beach, and it was so nice. Flipping through, and then all of a sudden, what he had done, he stuck some case photos in there.
Oh my god!
And there you go. Enough said. But yeah.
What?
Just
who can forget?
yes.
That is a very
You would love him. He's quite the prankster
I guess
himself.
being a urologist does give you a very unique position to be a prankster. Like
Oh.
you can do
Unique
things that-
position, period.
I know.
Because of where he
But
has
the
to
pictures, of course, you couldn't see who it was. I will give him the credit. Couldn't see who it was. I can't believe I'm even talking about this and going down this path. We'll stop because this is the stories. Talk about
No, this is
someone
great.
that has stories of what people do to themselves and that he has to take care of. All he says is that when he's
One of
able,
my friends, he's like he's an orderly at at one of the frickin' hospitals around here. He's like, there's this guy that just comes in weekly. It's like, guess what's up there today? It's like, holy crap! And he gets really mad when we say, no, you can't take this home.
but exactly, but they put what, where, and why.
They call him like Captain Crunch or something.
Yeah.
Like, what's going to be inside the box today?
No prize.
No
That's
prize.
just a
oh, look,
shame.
a plastic whistle. What?
Yeah. So I'm so glad that I'm in voice acting and acting rather than
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
I respect what he does
way to reel
greatly,
it back
but-
in there,
Woo,
Stephanie.
Thanks.
Yeah. So to
I had
wrap
to stop
up,
myself. I had to stop myself where I
think
kept
about all the
going.
stuff that you wanted to be when you were a kid. Like at one point, I'm like, I want to be an oceanographer, but then I'm like, well, I get like swimmers there taking a bath. So they're like, well, you don't have to be in the water to be an oceanographer. I'm like, I do.
I do, yes.
What is it? Because we like whales and dolphins. I thought I wanted to be a marine biologist at one point
Well,
too. But
I
you're not
wanted to
swimming
be-
with flipper. I mean,
I wanted
you're
to be a
counting shrimp on the beach.
lighthouse keeper. When I was
What?
very, very little,
What?
I remember wanting to be a lighthouse keeper. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. I can't imagine now, but it's like they don't really need lighthouse keepers so much anymore, do they? I mean, now it's just like some
Probably
dude
all-
that
yeah.
goes
I'm pretty
like
sure
once a
that's
week.
like, my
around.
father was a housekeeper.
But yeah, it's really funny. But yeah, when I was really little, I wanted to be a lighthouse keeper. That was after I gave up the dream of being Santa Claus, of course. Because I wanted to be Santa
Don't give
Claus.
up on that. You never know.
I wanted to be. I always wanted to be like villains in
Maybe
shows, like that would somehow be like a realistic goal. I'm like, I want to be Evelyn.
I did too.
Yeah.
I always watched. You know what it is? I didn't want to be Evelyn. I didn't want to be. That's not why I
I was
watched.
with you, but then like 70s, just like, oh, I'm like, oh, I could have taken it that way. Damn.
No.
I wanted to be He-Man. What? I mean, what? Yes. Sorry.
It was
what
pretty
I
belt.
saying? What?
Yeah.
I want to be Orko.
Shira sucked.
Oh, She-Ra was horrible. That
No.
was.
Fucking He-Man.
I think
so many
during that
shows.
era, I'm thinking I was more of a
He-Man, I
Heathcliff
loved.
watcher than maybe the. But of course now I do. I love the Chick Warriors now. So
They've come,
yeah, I know.
they've come into their own.
I was a big
strong women.
I will say that I watched Xena all the time, but I was like super into Greek mythology. And granted, they totally butchered everything. And I'm like, oh, okay,
At least you
whatever. But
That's not how it was. Okay. First of all,
No,
Stephanie
I was
would have
all
never
about
done that.
Xena, but then like I was like, okay, they're just getting like super on, and they're like, are Gabrielle and Xena like hooking up? Like, I don't care. Show me some unrealistic, air flips. Do it. Let's go.
Well, can you believe that there is, along the lines of Greek mythology, can you believe that they've remade Clash of the Titans?
Well, like I don't see why we needed that.
Yeah,
But
I
they've
don't,
there was a
I don't know
movie for
how
the
I feel
ages,
about
right?
that.
They've also changed it quite a bit, the storyline. I mean, like, I
Oh.
showed that, like, in my Theater 1 class. I
don't
showed
even-
the Medusa scene, like, because everyone had to choose, like, a different type of theater, and I was like, Greek!
Yeah,
Ah!
I call Greek.
And so I showed everyone how to make a toga, and, which I made everyone bring a sheet. Like,
Bring a
so
sheet.
everyone's wearing, like, floral, like, only, like, 2 people brought it. They're like, I don't care. But, Clash of the Titans was like this thing, and I love watching it now just for comedic.
Oh,
I'm like,
because it's so fun. You have
okay.
to.
It
Cult
is
classic.
fun, and with the Harryhausen like effects, they're dated, but they're so cool for what they are because they're so
yeah.
creative and just the sculptures and the miniatures and stuff and
The owl.
creatures and stuff and the owl.
Bobo.
I love the jeweled owl.
Bobo. Is it Bobo?
I love it.
Something like that.
The Medusa scene used to scare the
It
hell
was
out of me when I
very
was a
frightening.
kid.
It really
was
did, but now they made her like all fast. I'm like, she doesn't need to be fast. Bitch can like turn you to stone.
Yeah, she got
doesn't
all
need
she
to
got
be
to do
fast.
is
It's
she
not
can
about
take her
being
time.
nimble and quick, right?
No, I think mythology is like becoming like a big thing again. These things go through.
Oh, right, it's
like
it.
the vampire thing needs to end. Because I remember
The vampire thing will never
It
end.
will never end.
but it goes through different incarnations all the time, and so.
Maybe they just won't be as sparkly next time.
Steven and I were watching The Soup We were watching The Soup last night because we
Joel
watch it every
McHale.
Friday
Love.
night. Love Joel
Joel
McHale.
McHale.
But there was a
I'll leave you
commercial.
two alone.
Joel McHale's
I'm
delicious.
just kidding. I know.
Hilarious.
He is.
But there was like tonight at midnight. Get your copy of Twilight New Moon. Go to blah blah blah. For a Twilight party. And Steven's like, we should go. I'm like, no, this
that
is
would
where
be
I am
funny.
done. He's like, we should go. I'm like, is it bad enough that we went to the movie?
Well, we'll cut you some slack because at least I haven't seen the second one, but the cinematography was really beautiful.
Yeah.
Give him that. Now,
Yeah.
again,
So
sparkling,
that's like
I don't
saying,
like that.
the book
Yeah,
was
but that's
terrible,
like,
but the
I
binding
know
was
this
nice.
is a
The
Shiny.
binding was really, really nice,
Shiny.
and the pages were glossy.
The artwork was beautiful. Just don't read it. Don't dig too deep in that.
I
but,
need to do that with anything. Like, I know it's a snuff film, but
But I really felt.
I need to get the number of that lighting guy.
I know the art.
Because I saw everything.
The art direction was brilliant. Really, that's why I'm watching it. Really.
All right, but enough of that subject. It's just.
we get okay.
And then he said 5.
What happened? I don't. What?
Snuff.
It's all right.
Snuff films.
Shenanigans.
Snuffing.
Okay, so we have questions now.
Shenanigans.
Let's pull us out of the
Took
snuff film
Steven
discussion.
long enough. Had to backhand him.
But we have a question from let's see, Young Money CKO. Yeah, that's a kind of a.
It's like I'm a fan of Young Money. That's fine.
Yeah, Young Money is good.
It's
New
fine.
Money
It's
is
totally
good.
acceptable.
So the general question is, what anime character or characters do you relate to the most, and why?
You know, it's funny. I play a lot of witches, warriors, queens, whores. And so I'm thinking, I tell you who I wish I was more like sometimes is Nico Robin on One Piece, because she's so cool and calm and collected. I try. It doesn't always happen, but I try in my real life. Be more like Robin. Nothing gets under her feathers. I mean, everyone else on the boat's freaking out and screaming and yelling, and which is a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, yeah.
But she's just, the boat's rocking, and she's like, maybe we should take cover. I try to be calm like Robin. Elfrida and Moonphase, not that, of course, I'm not really a vampire, but
you are, sure.
her sensibility. No one's going to know, right? What?
No.
We won't tell anyone.
Everyone knows vampires can't be heard on audio.
On camera, or not camera.
Can't be heard on camera.
Microphone.
They can be seen, though.
It's very sparkly when you.
But she was, I don't know,
sparkle.
she was adventurous and fun and positive. I loved voicing her. She was great. And I don't know, I guess maybe there's some character traits there. Miranda Maverick and Salty Ray, I think she's just very mothering sometimes. I guess I can be that way from time to time.
Yeah.
Try not to all the time,
But
but
not
it happens.
Lefty? I mean, I know
Lefty.
that...
My husband might
totally
say
shift
that
time.
I, preach to him all the time or something. Not preach, but lecture.
I did find,
Love
because I
Lefty.
never heard, I'm still very new to hearing, but you and Greg played well off of each other.
Loved voicing character opposite of him. And that was Jeremy too on that show, wasn't it?
Yes.
Well, can I
It's
just
Yuri
say,
and Sabat.
because I got to write a lot of Heroic Age,
Oh,
the
beautiful.
adaptation, and it was so gratifying to get to hear people like you, especially you, reading words I wrote.
I loved it. I loved it.
that's-
It's beautiful. It's very poetic. I know.
I tried, and so that was the fun thing with that show is I got to
Very
be kind of
poetic.
flowery because it's
We don't always
it's
get to
what
do
it
that.
is. We don't, but
No,
it was
it's
fun.
nice.
So, but it was I love you as Lecty.
Oh,
I love
I
you as
loved-
anything you've done, but Lecty in
Well,
particular,
no,
I'm
I
like
loved
those are
voicing-
my words.
Well, she
keep
was
saying
so elegant, and it was so poetic.
dignified.
And I have to say, just even looking at her, she was beautiful. It's funny when you have these
Yeah.
beautiful characters
That
you get to
character
voice. Like,
design.
That was the episode I was watching
Great
you
twist.
toward the very end of the whole Heroic Age thing, where there was a scene where there were 8 Lecties,
right?
and you're like,
multiple lectings.
oh god, okay.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
On the subject of Nico Robin, Mr.
I love Robin.
Steve Yurko, who's he is one
love Steve. We love Steve.
one of the guys from the One Piece podcast.
Yes, the unofficial
they-
One Piece podcast were awesome.
Yes, they are awesome. But I said, on behalf of myself and the rest of the One Piece podcast, we just want to say that we love your work so far as Nico Robin.
Yay.
You've played the character for 3 years now. What do you like about the character, and where do you want to see her go next? We look forward to the dubbing continuing, so we can get so you should get ready for a big, in-depth look at Robin's character in later episodes.
Well, I would love that. I'm intrigued by, her beginnings as an archaeologist, like at the age of 8, and how she took out an entire fleet of ships with her power, her arms. At 8 years old. And so I remember when I found out that I was going to get to voice her, I was so excited. And there's so much, well, like I just said, that I just love about her. She's just calm and cool, collected. From the acting standpoint, it's a lot of fun. From the physical standpoint, it's nice because I'm a singer, and she doesn't yell that often. And she doesn't battle that often, which is kind when you have a lot to say. And Robin is a storyteller. She gives a lot of exposition. She has a lot of explaining. As the
That's a very
historian that
important
she
character.
is.
Sometimes there's a lot of possibility of wrecking that character because of the exposition. So obviously you didn't do that.
Well, thank you. And I'm glad, it's
I love
always...
One Piece.
It's a little
Expositors,
Banana-gator.
yeah.
Oh, Banana-gator. Seriously.
Banana-gator.
Banana-gators.
Banana.
That's what I want to see. I want to see more interactions. Crocodile. Well, that's not going to happen. But maybe some banana gators. That would be great. But oh my gosh, your character! I'm just thinking of your character in One Piece.
Which one? Inaru, I'm guessing the one that you and I. Yeah, because that was
like
one of the
three different.
Yeah, three different ones. But the one that actually
mind.
faced off with you at some point. We had a great couple of scenes together. Was Inaru.
Oh, it was
that was great. I was like we were trying to outvoice each other.
It was so. I know.
We're like,
who's going to be more profound?
Well, I'm going to be even more. Oh yes, but I'm going to do that. No, well now I'm going to do. It was so funny. You can totally hear it. We're like totally. Yeah. It's a contest between us in that scene. We're like,
I'm
the bell.
going to
yes, of course, the bell
you.
is made of gold or something. And you're like, oh yes, but these hours. I'm like, oh, well, bring it, bitch.
I will. And I'm going to bring it with 20 arms.
Yeah, it was great.
It was so much fun.
I love
voice offs with Michael Tatum.
Well, I told you, Steve. Steve is like the reason. The guys that do the unofficial One Piece podcast are hugely supportive of everyone's work in the dub. They love everything about it.
I hope so. They're doing a podcast.
But clearly they are.
It's kind of terrifying when you walk into a show that's already been worked on, and then you come in and you hope that
a show
the
that's
fans
as
will be
big as
happy.
it is anyway. It's huge. It's got a huge following. And it's like, well, don't screw this up.
Exactly.
But I met these guys through Steve because at Anime USA this past year, Steve came through my autograph line. Like he almost didn't make it because he had like a panel to get to. And then he was like, I'm waiting. And he barely made it. He came up and he had drawn a picture of Inaru and Dalton and Pearl, all three characters that I've played from there, and I was so ecstatic. I was like, "Oh my god!" And he was surprised that I was as into the show that I was as I am, and I was like, "Dude, all of us are. You have no idea." So I got to meet all of them, and it was really gratifying. I love soaking up the One Piece love because the One Piece is awesome.
Well, it's overwhelming. The very first convention I ever went to, it was Anime Matsuri in Houston. And they had this big One Piece panel, and that was the first con I'd ever been to.
Oh yeah,
I was just overwhelmed by it. It was
what a great way to go to a con for the first time, though. Is for something like One Piece,
what?
where they're like,
it was exciting. I didn't know what to say. I was like, oh my goodness, it was very exciting.
Well,
so I'm very thankful to be on that show. I am.
You brought up the singing, which is good. This gives us a nice segue into a question that comes to us from Benjamin Oscar.
Yeah, we've been going through this loveliness, and I will say I can interrupt the Silly Pants McGee thing. Benjamin Oscar, I refer to him as Silly Pants McGee. But we've been kind of going through this little thing where we make a lot of our guests, and I say we, it's all about the fans. They have guns to our backs. Just constantly like, you do this or I'll shoot you. From Pennsylvania.
That's a hell of a gun.
Oh man, that really makes me want to call the police.
Well, Michael Tatum can tell you all about that.
Or listen to the police.
Yeah, except in my case, it's normally Brina.
But yeah, we get a lot of requests for singing and such. So you being the singer, I'm like, there's got to be some kind of singing sensation. So what's Mr. McGee have to say?
Well, he asks very, very innocently, I imagine, being Silly Pants McGee. What was he would like to hear about? What was one of your best singing gigs? Like one of the most memorable gigs you've ever done?
Actually, Benjamin, I've met through Facebook, MySpace. He was actually one of the first fans that ever fanned me.
Me too. That's awesome.
So I'm a big fan of you. I am. That was very nice.
I think you just made Benjamin's.
Well, that made me blush. Like, I'm just like.
It was very. Again, when you get into this, you have no idea, and then all of a sudden, these people are friending you, and
hope
you're like,
that at least one person likes you.
Yeah. Really, that's great.
It's wonderful.
And so, no, I was very touched by that. So, thanks, Ben. Best singing gig. Oh gosh, I don't know. Well. You know what? There was a Valentine's Day. Obviously, it's going to be one of the gigs I sang with my husband now.
Well, sure.
And we had
It better be.
It better be,
yeah.
It better be.
He's probably going to listen.
Actually, I'm going. Of course he will.
Hi, David.
Talk about guns to the back. That'd be. You have to listen to my podcast. Of course you do. You have to be supportive. You're my husband. But I remember there was a Valentine's Day. We first started dating. We had just kind of figured out, we want to see each other, and it was the very first Valentine's, and it was the first time I had performed. I had never dated a musician before, or Sadly, I've never dated a musician before, especially a guitar player. Oh dear. But
you say sadly.
watch out.
Maybe it was like maybe you were dodged a bullet. I don't know.
Oh, I know. My parents probably would have
okay.
said.
After dating a few musicians.
Till they met David.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I probably would have run from the guitar player. But no, he's great. He's great. But to be able to sing those songs, this is so sappy, I know, but to be able to sing those songs together and actually have a relationship that was starting, that was real special. I geek out on stuff like that instantly.
Aww.
And
I do, but I will never tell people when I am. It's just like, it's like, oh, you guys are so cute.
See, I gotta be better at that.
And I, on the contrary, will totally act like that's the coolest story ever, but inside I'm going, Jesus Christ.
Well, Tatum, the
knew
reason
it.
for that is you're dead inside. So
Yeah, that's true.
nothing going on in there.
Just nothing rattling around in here but my
got
contempt
mad.
for life.
You know what though? Even to choose out even more, and then the other great gig would be the gig we sang the first original song that we wrote together. So, and I remember how terrifying it was to play that in front of people for the first time.
Well,
See
yeah,
if
it's so personal.
they threw up or if they liked
Like,
it or and then of course we started doing more and more. But I remember the first time when we looked at each other and like, let's do it now. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's just do it.
And
went over.
presumably the
The
audience
bartender
didn't throw
liked
up.
it, so we were good.
Yes, if the bartender likes your song,
Yes,
you're good.
that is your litmus test right there.
Exactly. That's literally the bar you're shooting for.
Absolutely. I like it. It's not even cocktail hour, and the jokes are flowing. It's nice.
The jokes, she says.
I'm telling you, if we drank while doing this,
Oh no!
Oh my God! Are you kidding? No. This would turn into Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. This would become like.
I hate that I get that.
I was watching that again the other day because I hadn't seen it in years. And I'm like,
Watching
this is a raw movie. I love it though, but oh my God, it's like.
Right. Pull up
No
your
one
heart.
ever watched that movie before ever getting into a serious relationship because it will make you question everything.
Everything.
You're like,
And start drinking
Well,
heavily.
no, me
Yeah.
and you drinking, especially like when like Josh was gone to bed, Steve was asleep on the couch, and like Tatum and I were just like, no, you know what about you? And then it's something like where Tatum goes like, whoa, touche, and like we're like clink.
Oh my goodness. Touche. Clink. I love that.
But,
Joshua to this day doesn't remember seeing Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf because every time he's watched it with his friends, they try to drink and keep up with the couple.
Oh,
which is,
yeah.
I'm like, you're gonna get alcohol poisoning by
You
30
can't.
minutes in. Like, no, you can't. It's impossible. There's
I may
no
just
way.
be a simple doctor, but this is going to keep happening until they ban drinking games for. I got that from Community, which I've been watching because it's got Joel McHale, and they're playing Pictionary, and Chevy Chase is trying to. He gets windmill, and he ends up drawing like a swastika in this circle around it, and they're like, draw something else, and he just draws something like, draw something else, and he ends up getting into a fight, and the cop's like, I may just be a simple cop, but this is going to keep happening until Pictionary bans the word windmill.
That's hilarious. Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
well, Yoko, I hope I pronounced that correctly, is asking because we're very much on the singing. The
good.
singingness. Does singing affect your voice acting, or does your voice acting affect your singing?
Yes and yes. Definitely the voice acting affecting the singing. Actually, well, it's something that I have to watch out for in terms of, especially like, for instance, we were finishing up Claymore. And, Claire is getting in touch with her monster Yoma self, and it's all, coming out. And there's Yoma. And there's lots of screaming and yelling and gnashing of teeth. And you guys as directors know that whenever we halfway do something like that, you don't buy it, and the fans don't buy it. So you have to come from that guttural place where you just take your vocal cords and grind them together. And fortunately...
Apologize later. Yeah.
And you actually, well, people like you guys were very kind. Monica Real was directing those episodes, and she was so sweet because she let me take breaks.
Monica? Really?
Yeah. Sweet? Really? I don't get that.
I did not read that from...
It just oozes out of
Monica's
her
very
pores.
much like the Lucy, like if you hate Monica, like,
There's something wrong with
there's
you,
a
yeah.
little-
I know. What is wrong with you?
Hey, Monica, you don't like ice cream. Or
I
candy.
know.
What is wrong with you?
Something sweet and fabulous.
lactose intolerant. I'm Monica intolerant.
She was so great, though. She let me take breaks, and You know, and I finally, I learned, I remember in the beginning I used to try to hold back, and then that's horrible because then you end up doing things many more times. But if you just go for it the first time,
I tend
that's
to
a
get
better
the actors
choice.
that don't realize they're doing it, and I get in the booth with them, which... Sean
wow.
Teague, like I pretty much punched him in the diaphragm at one point. I was just like, no, just...
I wish I could see that. Oh, I wish I could
Same
see
with
that.
Aaron,
That's hilarious.
because Aaron holds back a lot because he's not comfortable
Right.
with his range yet, being that it's a new voice.
Right, figuring that out.
So, like, standing behind him, like, in the booth, and he's, seriously, Terry, I'm like, shh, you're recording. Let's do this.
I will say that the very first video game that I voiced, that was, in video games, you fight sound after fight sound after fight sound, and then trying to mix those up can be a challenge, especially if you've never done that before.
Yeah.
First game was with Chris Sabat.
At Okatron.
Actually, it was pre-Okatron.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
pre-Okatron. But he was
Frozen
definitely
okra.
producing and directing, and I just remember, and the fun, I was talking about doing the musical Swing. It was while I was doing the musical Swing, and we had a pretty rigorous schedule for that musical, and it was a ton of singing. We did shows Thursday through Sunday, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. So, a lot of singing. And then I booked my first video game during production. I know. And Chris was so amazing because you know what he would do, and he said he'd done this with some other people, is he would create the sound and I would mimic him. So that means he had to do all those sounds too.
Yeah.
That's pretty
great at that.
generous.
Especially when your voice is like
Very
that. Like,
generous.
He must
think-
have another
yeah.
set of vocal cords.
I
in there
think he
somewhere that
does.
He just trades out whenever the other ones
But
get
then
done
like
for the
switching.
day. Excuse me. 'Cause he can do that forever.
It's incredible. Yeah, Teflon cords. It's a gift. Genetic gift. But he also turned me on to this throat spray that saved the day, which unfortunately is no longer out there. I want to say it had like ephedrine in it or something like that. And I was like, I'm just so awake.
Good. I love it.
I'm so happy. Everybody.
Wow.
But fortunately, it was a very good experience because I was working with somebody like that.
I'd say that voice acting, I noticed that a lot of singers that end up going into the voice, like if they've been singers beforehand or start to do it, they become stronger just period. I noticed that with just theater actors, their voice gets stronger. They're more comfortable on stage, which is funny because I'm like, you shouldn't be because you're in front of a mic.
Right.
Being in front of a mic is much more safe to me than
Oh,
being
absolutely.
on stage.
But I guess because you're just even mentally having to, you get to branch into so many different types of characters that on camera or stage you may not be able to do because of your type, but because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Physical type,
Exactly.
voice acting, which is great.
I think too on
Opens it up.
one way that I kind of look at it is that when you're on stage, sometimes being able to project the way you have to when you're on stage kind of gives you a sort of shield to not hide behind, but it puts some distance between you and the audience. It's a much more, I don't want to say artificial kind of acting, but it's a very different kind of acting. It's less intimate in terms of the relationship you have with your audience than awkwardly enough voice acting, where the audience isn't there, but because you're hearing your voice so present in your ears and the mic, it's like you hear every little thing about your voice, and it's weird for me. Like for me, being able to get up on stage and blah 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 was so much easier than getting in front of the mic for the first time. Because
the
I'm
vulnerability
hearing
here.
every little thing in my voice, every little crack, every little squishy,
And then the situations that you're in when you're doing the voice acting, they are completely different.
It's weird. So yeah, I think
Sometimes.
it's a very different kind of acting in terms of just how you use your voice and what your voice kind of. Because I've always found that being on stage. I don't know. And Josh Greeley said it before when he said it was much tougher to have just the audience of two.
Absolutely.
The director and the engineer watching rather than the whole audience.
I feel that way
Somehow
even
the larger
singing.
the audience, the less real it seems to me.
You get lost. It's like
Yeah.
they're not there. And especially if you're in a larger auditorium or house on the stage where the lights even sort of block them out. So, so you can't just get lost in the show, which you should be. Well, most of the time, but if the show's like that, but that you should be lost. But it's interesting how even though it's live, you sometimes feel less vulnerable. But when you're being recorded, it's something that's becoming more permanent. I feel the same way with film acting.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point.
Permanent.
That's a good
It's
point.
going
It
to be
will
there.
always
It's not
be
going to
there.
just go away. If it was a bad performance, I'll just go away.
always be there.
Unless there's a great editor helping you out. But it's not just going to go away. And it's very vulnerable. But I think I agree with you on the voice acting side, how vulnerable that you have to be because you hear it. Mm-hmm. There's nothing else physical other than the image that they get to see from the animation, but nothing else to skirt around.
And
with your physical body, it's all right here.
When you're using your voice in such an intimate setting, like in front of a mic, it's a weird experience because you have to. I mean, one thing you learn being a voice actor, you learn how to exploit that vulnerability and bring it to the characters, which is something you do very differently. You use different vocal methods to bring out the same kind of vulnerability on stage.
Oh, right.
But it's a weird. But once you get there, you have to. Like I find that there are sometimes when you have to project in front of a mic for whatever reason. It's why we hold back. Especially if you're coming from stage, it's like you're now so present. You're like, oh, I can't. You're afraid of being too loud,
of being too much,
because you're so.
Yeah.
I don't have an inside voice, so I really don't. And so when I get in front of the mic, whenever I have to give these reactions, it took me forever not to want to hold back because I felt like I can't give these as big as you would on stage because it'll blow the mic out.
Right, the engineer's going to slap me.
Yeah, the engineer's going to be like, no, well, that's thank you for destroying everything.
Or if they're a really good engineer, they're like, can you turn off the mic for a second? Yeah, they just blew the diaphragm on the mic. So I have to go get another mic now. And if you could talk to them, that'd be great.
You can talk to them before we go in and
they can go get some coffee and I'll fix everything.
Why don't you go get some coffee? Go get some coffee.
Yeah,
go get some coffee.
We're going to take a break.
What else we got?
Well, speaking of some of the extremes one's voice has to deal and adapt to, I guess, when you're in front of the mic. A comment. This is again from Young Money, ZK. I just love saying Young Money, ZK.
Young Money,
Money, Monster Richie.
He says, I've got a comment for Stephanie, and it's the final episodes of Claymore are beyond epic!
Aww.
Exclamation point.
Okay.
Even to this day, I still love how powerful your voice was. You are one of the best voice actresses ever! Exclamation point.
That's so nice.
I thought you
Thank
deserved
you.
to hear that.
Aw.
I was actually sitting in just randomly while you and Brina did a commentary for Claymore, so I thought that was fun.
I was just glad to be in the game.
How different a character was that for
Claire
you?
was very different. It was exciting. I do play a lot of, I feel like these wise women and sages and that are, with all of the exposition and they're comforting. It just fits the tone of my voice a lot. So I do voice a lot of characters like that. With Claire, it was great because she had such an interesting arc because she began so cold, this ice princess.
Yeah.
And then by the time that she continued to become more human and she began to feel more, and then of course her Yoma side started to become more present, and she had to monster out. That's what I like to call it. It was so much fun. It was great fun. I didn't even care about if I had a gig. I'm like, I will sing songs that don't go above like an E above middle C, because it was so exciting to be able to unleash like that. Because I do play a lot of characters either refined or contained, or so to be able to play a warrior, this woman. And then this monster side was so exciting. I loved it. Now, we did layer the voices. I'd like to say, oh, that's just me. No. That's my special skill. I can layer my own voice.
I can, yeah.
Yeah.
I can harmonize with myself.
Right. It's brilliant, really.
One take.
One take. But, of course, we layered the voices, but still just to be able to get in touch with that guttural, raw. We were talking about Greek theater earlier. It's very much like that just animal side of ourselves that we don't get to do in everyday life. And it's exciting. Scream. Yes, the primal scream. But it was really exciting to be able to do that and just let it go. And I have to watch it because I am guilty in the booth of forgetting that the mic's there sometimes.
It's weird.
Sorry.
You take out the microphone with your wrist or something.
It happened a couple, or bumped it, or you hit it and you're like, oh, stop it. You can't move a lot, of course, but when you're trying to get some of those battle sounds out, we all know for me, a lot of this physically getting into it helps it become more authentic.
Oh, yeah.
And poor Pop scream.
Poor
Pop scream.
I've played a warrior. Well, not really like a warrior, but like a badass. And I had a stance the whole time. Where I was constantly going for my sword, which even the engineer was just like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Shut up, just shut up. This is how I have to stand. Otherwise, there's no way." But for Rin. I did not move much at all.
I was about to say, so how did you get into that? How did you get into that, Terry? Why don't you share? What stance did you take?
I got really close to the pop filter because
what position?
I don't have a lot of lines. I have a lot of reactions. So a lot of it was just like...
We would turn the lights out.
So the lights were out. The
Candles,
lights were out.
incense.
But Tatum also like hid. Like, because we've got that nice window where we can see the engineer and and the director, but Tatum was just like, I love you. You're one of my best friends. This is why I'm going to be over here.
I'm going to be over here where you cannot see me.
I'm not watching.
I cannot.
And I'm like, please turn off the
this.
microphone too. Please turn off. I do not want to hear you guys at all. But a lot of it was like closed mouth reaction. So a lot of it was actually me shutting my eyes. Much like a lover would.
Yes.
Yes.
Get lost in it.
Why won't you
Shut
look
your
at
eyes.
me during?
Oh, you guys, that was hilarious.
Before I forget again, Miss Terra Terrific.
Yes, you're gonna do it.
Oh, yes, I'm going to do it. Jackie, her sister, says, hey. I'm guessing Tara says hey too. You better be saying hey to all of us. Hey. And I've been forgetting about it, but there's a Spanish request for me.
Oh.
Where I think the first time I met Jackie, like I spoke to her like nonstop in like Spanish. So they want me to speak in Spanish.
You should totally do it. Come on.
I've gotta remember how to speak it.
Hold on, Terry.
Should we cut short a clever distraction while you get your bearings?
Adoro Tara y Jackie tanto. Son mi favorito.
Nice.
There you go.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful.
Lovely.
I love Tara and Jackie. They are my favorite.
They
That's what I
are
said.
wonderful.
That's what I said.
She said it.
Aww.
Yes. So there you go.
How do I say I agree?
Cool.
See.
See.
Well, no, that's right.
See. See. I can do that.
Sí,
You speak
señorita.
Spanish? See.
Me llamo es Miguel. Actually, you don't need the S. Oh.
Yeah.
Me llamo Miguel. Me llamo Miguel.
Or ¿Dónde está el sanatorio?
¿Qué hora es?
Or no, I make Steven speak it, but it's like, like say ¿Qué hora es? And he's like, ¿Qué hora es?
Texas Spanish.
¿Qué
Yes.
hora? Yeah, it's Tex-Mex.
Right. Sounds good right now.
But yeah. No, I love speaking
can't
Spanish
remember.
and I love my accent, but I like it more than my actual voice.
That's the
But,
tough thing is like I took like 4 years of French, and I
Speak a
Yeah.
little French.
We took
I can't. I
the
don't-
useful
that's the thing.
languages.
Like-
I took German. That
I
was-
took-
I just
I
want
took French.
Eddie Izzard
I took
bits
French.
of French.
I took French. I can understand French, spoken French, really, really well. But it's very hard for me to just spontaneously come up with something in French. I'm like l'emmenage.
I can write and understand it better
man
than I
is
can
swimming.
speak it.
And I'm like l'emmenage. Yeah, I remember like exercises, but I cannot remember. I cannot like if someone starts speaking in French, I can come up with words.
You can comprehend.
I can totally comprehend it,
Yeah.
but like there's another side of my brain. But yeah, I also studied Old English extensively. So how practical is that?
Say
I just
something in
like
Old
to-
English. There you
You
go.
know what? Do
I
that
can
where
totally
you
say
can.
things spontaneously in Old English, which is totally
Do
worse.
it.
All right, hold on. Let me.
Steven warned me, and he's like, Tatum went on freaking like Elvin on.
And I was like, no, that wasn't Elven. That was Old English. This is Elven, and I started speaking like Elven, and they were like, oh my god. I'm like,
Do you really speak Elvish?
Not really. Like I can speak a little bit of it.
I can do well.
Cinderin.
Like,
I mean, I'm an LOTR fan, definitely, but I don't
you can speak
Okay.
German.
ein bisschen. A little bit.
Well, see, then Old English.
I
is
understand
very-
a lot more than
Old
the
English
first.
is very similar to it's a Proto-Germanic language. I mean, it kind of it uses the Celtic grammar, but it's mostly so. Everyone, it's like when you read like Chaucer, which is Middle English. Everyone goes hurdy-gurdy, you say it like it's from Sweden. So it's like hurdy-gurdy with the shoulder, when it's like it's not really that. And that was the Knight's Tale from. But anyway, no. So,
Racy
okay,
stuff,
Old English.
that
Old English.
Chaucer.
I can say. There's a really cool
Something
version
clever.
of the Lord's Prayer from the 12th century that goes Fada uradu de arton heoveren sidi nama I helfgud to become den richa warfledin willa on artan swaswa on yaveren, which is the opening of.
It does sound like Elvish.
Doesn't it?
It does.
It's just like, where did we go?
No, Elven would be something like.
Where is Gandalf? Help me!
Hang on. Ayulari lantilasi mitrili luvata. Ayulari lantilasi mitrili luvata, which means something about like the one god.
Stephanie
being really
looks
bright
like,
and I don't know, and I'm saying it really mush mouth too. I'm like,
get the marbles out of your mouth.
It should be something like.
It's really beautiful.
It's very beautiful, and I can't remember what I'm saying now. It's from something, and I'm like,
It is beautiful. I don't know what
I don't know
I'm
what you're saying, but it sounds pretty.
I know. Iluvata was Tolkien's, like, he's the god of Middle Earth or whatever. You know, in the Silmarillion, he's like the one. I don't know. Stop blaming me. I am not. I love Lord of the Rings and I love Tolkien, but I'm by no means an expert. I am not.
That is another something you have to commit to study. So.
Say something in German.
Das Wetter ist nicht so schön.
Totally.
Yeah. The weather is not so beautiful today. Actually, it could be pretty. I see. Yeah, my statements will also be about like the weather and food, and my name is. It's not that extensive.
Like French. Like I wanted to learn French after like listening to Eddie Izzard speak French. Oh yeah, awesome. But I just know like little bits from this thing. Singe sur les branches, which is the monkeys in the tree.
So helpful.
Oh God, yeah. I need to brush up on my French. I'd like to learn. I mean, I took a little bit of Spanish too, but I need to.
We all need to brush up on our Spanish.
I think Spanish is a beautiful language.
It is.
And
I would love to learn it.
It's one of the 4 great, romance languages.
I love Spanish. My mom actually. I've started like getting hardcore into Rosetta Stone because
that's a great tool. I mean, it's like one of the best language learning things I've ever encountered.
That's what they advertise, but it's
so
true.
Amazing. Huh? It really is. Everything they say about it is true.
I got that,
amazing.
and Steven's because Steven's very big German man. German.
Oh gosh, Steven's judging my German right now. Sorry, Steven, it's been a while. I'm a little rusty.
Brushing up on the German, and I'm
excellent
brushing up on Spanish.
Now, is there a trip in the works that you're thinking about using the language?
It's just that I'm native to it, and I want to break the stereotype that third generation of any culture doesn't speak their native language. I mean, granted, I am also English, so I'm halfway there.
We're working on that one.
Yes. We got some more questions.
Oh, good.
We do have some more questions. Let's see. This is from Kyoko. I guess Kyoko is saying that. I'm hoping I'm saying that right, but let me see. Hang on.
This is so much fun.
If Stephanie could cosplay as any character,
that's a good one.
Which would it be? And you've got quite a variety to choose from there too. That would be great. Yeah,
Claire would be incredible. I'm like, which one? I mean, I would have to work out insanely for all of these characters. That's the thing. Definitely. Well, not definitely, because I love Robin's outfits. Her sense of fashion is kind of fun when she's doing the cowboy hat.
Well, those would be great. That would be a great costume to go to if you were going to like a con in the middle of summer somewhere.
Yes. Winter Claire might be a better covering. Actually, I was at a con in Oklahoma, and that was the first time that I saw someone cosplaying Claire, and she looked incredible. I mean, she really was pretty much a dead ringer.
People don't joke around.
No, I mean, they were amazing.
No.
I love the idea of being one, but ooh.
I know. I would never be able to get it together, I don't think. And she's a supporting character, but BB Mozzarella from Glass Fleet is one of my favorite characters I've voiced, just because she is fabulous. And she wears these couture-looking gowns and these big hat, her big beautiful hat, and of course she's always lounging and talking. She's smoking out on something. It's not drugs.
Awesome.
But she's smoking out something, and she's just fabulous. I would love to cosplay BB. But it would her gown would take up half the room, so it would be difficult. That would be one of those
you'd be in good
costumes that would be difficult to maneuver.
When these people make costumes, they really don't go like, might be a little crowded. No,
might knock someone over with my hoop skirt.
That is one of the best things about going to cons is seeing all the cosplay.
Oh, it's incredible.
I love it.
The detail, the work, it's incredible.
Because I'd say every con I've been to, it's like 95% of the cosplayers are just magnificent, and even the other 5%, you're like, that's really good too. But like you see the ones you're like, oh my god, that costume weighs 3 times like 3 times what you do. And how did you get?
Again, if you haven't seen Alexis's, I think her Trinity Blood costume, it's ridiculous. I'm like, how is that up?
I need to check that
Ridiculous.
out.
I will show it to you after the show. We've got some more Claymore love from Rick Cole. Rick Cole.
I love
He's
Claire.
awesome. And he also wants to know what has been your favorite project to work on so far and why.
Favorite project. Again, it's like picking children. They're all so different. Of course, the Claymore was hugely exciting.
Well, it was such different.
And it was
territory
different.
for
It was
you, and
very
really
different
cool.
territory
You
for
got to
me.
kind of,
And it's exciting when people allow you that opportunity to do that and they trust you to do it. And it's when I remember when I auditioned for Claymore, I didn't even think. I just said I wanted to be. I just thought, I hope I get to be in this show.
Yeah.
I hope I get to be one of these warriors. And then when I found out about Claire, it was like Christmas. I couldn't believe it. I was so excited and honored. And
everyone was excited when we heard that you were going to be doing that. We were like, oh, that's going to be awesome. Seriously, like the buzz around that was like all of us were wanting to sneak into your sessions and see what was going on. Because we were like, oh, that's going to be great. That's going to be, yeah. But
I would have been very, very upset. I'm like, guys, please stop watching me.
we did not.
That didn't happen. It didn't happen like that. Never happened.
Tour groups come in, I'm like, as if they're not nervous enough. We're going to add like people that are just like, voice actor.
But I couldn't wait. I remember I couldn't wait to get in the booth and record her every time. I just couldn't wait to record Claire. So she was very exciting. So
Hell yeah.
that was a big one.
What else?
Claire love.
Well, we have another one from Silly Pants McGee, which
Uh-huh.
I think is good because this kind of branches out into some of the short film work that you've done.
Oh, excellent.
Which I think is awesome. That he asks, you've appeared in some short films with Todd Haberkorn.
You may know who he is.
Yes.
Yeah, that name does ring a bell.
But of course, Mr. Haberkorn.
He just kind of asked what that experience is like, and how is it to do short films with familiar faces like that you've met? And
Oh,
and
it's
that's
wonderful when you get to work with your friends. That's very exciting. And I remember that was actually the project we worked on was for a 24-hour film race. Which you are familiar with.
I gave him a lot of just random advice. I'm like, well,
Nice.
I was going to do it, but I did it like 3 years in a row, and I was just like, this year, just no. Like, when I get off work on Friday, I don't really want to take a nap and be up for 24 hours straight.
Right.
Because, the premise of the 24-hour video race, for those that don't know, is you have 4 bits of criteria that you're given at the stroke of midnight, a line of dialogue that you have to put in, a setting, a location that has to be in there, and a prop that has to be in there. And you guys actually won, didn't you?
No.
Todd told me that you won something. Or like you guys at least got to advance.
Maybe, we did. We were in the
Royal
finals.
Lane was the name
Sorry.
of it. Search it.
Very good.
It's very good.
Royal Lane, yes.
Again,
it is a good
remember,
one.
It's online.
I have a ridiculous memory. But Kent Williams was in it. Wendy
Yes.
Powell was in it. Todd.
We were surrounded by friends, and it's funny, we shot it, part of it at our home.
Yeah.
So I've been in 24-hour film races before, and I've done film and things like that before, but never with this kind of crunch. And I'd never had my home be base camp.
Uh-huh.
But it was actually pretty darn incredible. First of all, we all got along. And that in and of itself, when you're working in a crunch like
I've
that for
never had
24 hours, well, I'll tell
always been
you,
at least one that's
Wendy
like, "Fuck you."
covered all the catering, basically all the food. Everybody pitched in, and we ate really, really well. So that's the thing. Keep your crew
Really
well
important
fed.
whenever you're,
Things will go well for you.
Yes,
whenever you have to
this is
stay up
true.
for that long. It's very, very important that you eat and stay hydrated.
Yes, stay hydrated and eat. But we had a great time, and everybody worked well. Everybody was very professional. I got to fight with Kent Williams. He can be.
You were telling me that it scared the crap out of your dog.
Oh, we had just rescued a Shih Tzu from a rescue group, and she had only been Lola. Yeah, she'd only been living with us for a couple of days.
So adorable.
And thank you, I think so too. But anyway. But she and I had already attached, right away.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about it. Wasn't used to having a puppy around. And so we're filming. And I was just so proud of her because she was a great dog on set. I was like, fantastic, because we're on sets all the time. This is great. We have a good dog on set. Well, Kent and I, there's this montage of him beating me and then me beating him. But of course, that was so much fun. But what you saw, we
I'd been
probably
practicing for yelling at Kent for so long.
I was so excited. Sweet Kent. That's actually, I didn't know him that well, but he was very intimidating. He threw me up against the wall multiple times. But we shot 6. Now, Mr. Tatum.
For those of you who haven't gotten the hint from the past 9 episodes, Kent is kind of pretty.
Yeah,
Kent is
Kit's very
so-
pretty. He's very strong. But of course, he was like throwing me up against the wall and yelling at me.
Pants, man.
Sorry. I
so
love
cute.
this story. Go on.
Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. That's my gift to you. Some good imagery. But he was wonderful, but terrifying. But you know, when you're acting in a situation like that, it's great when someone actually really terrifies you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you're like, this makes my job
He
so
was
much easier.
fabulous, but it was great. We worked on that project together, and David, my husband, he worked on that, helped shoot on that. It was a whole team effort over at our place, from the shooting, and we were around town, and then the editing and everything. Worked with just a great team of people. Then a bunch of us had never worked together before, but it worked out really well. So.
And Todd was at the helm of that, wasn't he? I mean, was
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he was-
He's the one that
Okay,
called
that's
us,
fine,
said,
that's
"Hey, you
fine.
want to be involved? Let's
Todd,
do
I
this."
swear to God, Todd is like not only one of the most talented people in the world, but like, is he not? When does he sleep?
I know he is a machine.
That was a thank you for smoking. My God, man, when do you sleep? And he goes, Sunday.
Sunday.
I don't know how Todd. I don't know where Todd finds.
I
the time
believe
and energy,
it.
But I mean, like every time I turn around, I'm like, you've just done what? How?
Yeah.
What?
It's going to be like The Machinist, where things just start blending together.
Yeah, I love it, but
Yeah,
it's great.
pretty
and I've seen a
incredible.
few of his short films, including the clown one, which scares the shit out of
Which
me.
I
but-
sat next to.
Oh, I
him
bet.
on,
You
which
can't
is
watch
hilarious,
that.
'cause, you know, Kent's in that.
And it's wonderful. It's
McFarlane
really
is in
good. It's
that.
really solidly made, but I had to
T.A.
have a
Taylor,
little
yeah. Everybody's in that.
Little talk with Todd after that. I'm like, Todd, I love you.
Well, I promise you, we
Please
don't
never,
have any
never.
clowns in our film that we're showing
Thank you.
next week. It's a short film that we shot last year. And it's a film that basically we created because there's a feature script that we'd like to produce as well. So, and it's wonderful. It's based on a novelist out of Fort Worth. It's award-winning, called Balaam Gimbel's Gumption, plug for the book. But, you know, it's basically... I won't go into the film too much, but, you know, quirky Texas comedy about a guy that discovers these healing waters on his property. It's almost like Cocoon, but not quite. And, you know, what happens when the town discovers they could make some money, you know, off of selling this water. But we shot this last summer. It's so funny. We've actually, my husband and a few other partners, we have a production company called Blue Logic.
Yes.
And
I am a fan.
excellent. So glad. And we've done a lot of, you know, industrial work, corporate, and some, you know, some short films. And we're hoping that this will be the first feature that we get to shoot.
So so the film you're just talking about, that's a short film. But the
Yes,
one,
it's a short, but there is a
But
feature-length
there's
script.
a feature-length script.
Yes. And it's really well written. And of course, we would shoot it in Texas, keep it Texas-based, so we're excited
for
about
you.
that. And it's been very interesting to work on the other side of the camera.
Yeah.
As I've worked more in production now, which I love.
What do you do in production? Specifically, like, what do you do in production? I mean, do you?
But when
do
you're married to the director, you do a little bit of everything. You are craft services. You are the first AD. You are the girl that gets the coffee sometimes. You know, and everybody. We have a small, tight knit group, but we work really well together. Just the funny thing is that when we shot this film, of course, we had to shoot it in the summer in Texas, and most of it takes place
My husband loves that.
outside.
Yeah.
So we shot it on a red camera, which is very exciting. It's a great camera, but it's heavy. And it's the red it shoots, it looks like film, but it's digital. And it's basically like a big computer. So it can't get overheated.
No.
You have to be careful of that, right? And when we're shooting in these creek beds in the middle of, nowhere in Texas, it's funny, we would have to take the red and cool it off. But it worked out great. And it was a lot of fun. That was a fun project. So we enjoy working on things like that are outdoors and Texas based.
And what's the name of the film again?
Balaam Gimbel's Gumption.
I
know.
Balaam. Okay.
Gimbel's.
Balaam Gimbel. Okay. Balaam Gimbel's Gumption. Balaam Gimbel's
I know.
Gumption.
Once you get
And it's premiering
Bailey.
next
where's it premiering?
Thursday
Where?
in McKinney. At the
cool.
McKinney Performing Arts Center in the Courtroom
My hometown.
Theater. I know. We're having a party in your hometown. You should come.
somewhere.
I should totally go.
Yeah.
I am on their Wikipedia page. Or no, I'm on their website.
Are you really?
Their McKinney website.
You are?
I'm at one. There's like one of 5 people of note that have lived in McKinney over the past 200 years.
Damn, why am I from Philly? There's so many.
It's really
Places
funny.
like
It's like
McKinney.
me and a bunch of football players.
Oh, that's great. I'm going to have to go look
and I
that
think
up.
there's one other actor. I cannot think of who, but there's a couple. There's a couple of actors, but there's a ton,
like a
and
dog.
ton of.
Kidding.
Well,
Such an ass.
Benji was filmed there.
Was
Claim
it
to
really?
fame.
Yes, it was. The first Benji film was filmed there. I went to school up the street from where the Benji
Well,
house was.
Nice.
Yeah, all right. My grandfather was in Benji. He was in one of the shots of the street. He was walking down, going because he owned a store on the square, and he was in it. And I'm like, I can watch that. I'm like, oh, there's my grandfather with his brown tie. Just
Okay, I'm
walking
done.
along.
Aw.
Click.
That's all I need to see.
It's in the genes. It's
Yeah.
in the genes. Well, we're also having an after party at Churchill's, so we're gonna have
cool.
the
You got
screening.
a lot of crap going on. You got
You know,
CD,
you are a busy,
got
busy
this,
woman.
We're crazy, yeah, but
Well,
it's
thank
good
you for
though.
taking the time to do this.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I'm very glad to be here. You know, we work on lots of different creative projects, but you know, it's fun. Like any creative, if you're not busy, you want to be busy.
Yes.
You want to be
It's
busy.
very
Yes,
true.
yes,
So-
yes.
Very, very, very true.
Well,
Well,
I
thank
guess
you for
on that note,
thank you
yeah.
for gracing us with
Oh,
your
geez,
lovely,
guys. Thanks for
lovely
having me.
presence for the short time we've had here with you today. We have to do this again sometime soon.
I
Yeah.
would love that. This is a great
Without
thing.
mics in our face.
You know, I'm big
Or-
fans
or-
of both
or
of
with
you.
mics in our face. Or-
Big fans of both of you and the Hoff, of course. But the Hoff. Yeah, but this is I love the fact that anime show exists. This is great. So thank you for having me.
Us too.
Well,
Yeah.
well, thank you for classing up the joint.
Oh,
this
goodness.
afternoon.
All right, so I guess on that note, I will bid you adieu.
And I will also bid you adieu.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.